And we are back with another episode of the con. You guys all can. You guys hear me, right? I just want to make sure. Make sure we're not having any technical difficulties just yet.
D's.
Okay, that's good enough for me. Um, so last time we left off with Calder and the crew. Um, you guys had been summoned by the prince, Prince Joseph of Almoria, who had an issue with a curse similar to that of lycanthropy, which you quickly found out was a bit different and a bit more complicated than most lycanthropy curses. Um, and as you were helping him try to find a cure, searching around in the depths of the city, uh, it was discovered that there was a Aarakocran woman who had managed to get a hold of a cure, which you then procured from her by trading a vial of the king's blood in order to um, strike the deal and get what you wanted from her. Which she quickly was very. The deal went by fairly well, with one uh, obstacle in the way of someone lurking around not too far away, which you guys never saw. And then you were attacked on your way back to the castle by four half orcs who were looking to reclaim this cure as they were the original owners of it. Um, and where we left off now is you guys are standing around near the ramps leading up to the upper levels with this half orc tied up and unconscious before you, Jotun standing over top of it. So, what would you all like to do?
I say we get back to the prince as soon as possible.
Yeah, we should just head back immediately.
Can
Just
we
to
make
not
any
worry him, and to also just get this guy back
can we
into
make
the jails.
investigation checks to make sure we're not being followed?
I would say perception. And
Yeah,
as you guys are saying this, Jotun picks up the dude, kind of flings him over his shoulder, and begins walking after you guys. Uh, Jabber's following suit as you guys begin to head up the ramps. Roll a perception check for me. Let me know what the number is.
I got a
I suck at
5.
perception, so you can go ahead.
Hello.
Two.
I'm so sorry. I had a I had someone call me at the last second, and yeah.
You're good. We just did the intro, and you guys are now
Okay.
heading up, back up to the uh, upper levels of the city, back to the castle. Jotun has a individual over his shoulder, and Orion, you look around. There's a few people with that perception check. You notice there are a few people watching from the shadows. Various smaller individuals. Looks like a couple goblins and halflings that are kind of just watching, but they're not in any means pursuing you guys as you guys are heading up this ramp.
They're just taking interest.
Yeah, they're curious because not too as violence is common in this area. It's not common for an odd group such as yourself to fight off for of the black market members.
Can I shout to them? Official crown business. Carry on with your day.
You do, and as they do it, they just kind of some of
That
them just kind of
that just draws more people to our
Yeah.
attention.
when you say that, a couple of them
Yeah.
kind of dip back in their shadows a little more, still visible to you. Others turn away and kind of scurry off.
Splendid.
But you guys make your way back up to the top, the ground level, the surface, and as you do, unlike how it was when you guys originally had gone down there, it is dark. The sky is blackened, and you look up to see the eclipse moons, one over the other, seeming to almost cast this shroud of darkness over the sky. the stars can be seen, and you can also you guys have seen this many times before, but it may still astonish some of you. Is you can still see the sun as a dim halo in the sky that is slowly making its path across the sky, but it's not producing any light. Those of you that don't have dark vision, it is fairly dim lit in the area, and you notice there's a lot of there are Crown's Guard moving around there, lighting lanterns around the city. Kind of on the lantern posts, you see them lighting them and lighting streets. And let me double check on who this would affect. Orion and Sphex. You both get this sensation kind of in your gut from this eclipse. Something a little more feral and animalistic. Kind of like there's some urge deep inside you, and you can easily control it, but you have this urge in your gut that you instinctively want to pursue something, and you don't know what that is. And
is this like a lust or like a hunger, or is it like a...
It's like a mixture of a lust and a hunger, but it's more of a lingering feeling, considering actually I would say roll a history, an arcana, or a nature check if you want to figure out this sensation.
Wait, can I roll too?
Yes, you two roll.
You said history, arcana, and nature?
One of them. You pick which one. History, arcana, or nature.
Hold on. I just apparently put my computer to sleep. Fuck.
21.
All right.
I got a new keyboard.
21 on arcana.
It has new buttons.
So for you, Orion, you know you've read about this in your time, and you've also experienced a little bit of it. The lunar eclipse, based on what you know, causes certain races and individuals to get feral at times, depending on the types of races they are. You know that, and you've experienced this before, the feeling you're getting is a mild urge for a hunt type deal. Kind of, you have this adrenaline rush of, I want to go hunt something, I want to pursue something, but it's easily controlled because of what you are. As an Aarakocra, it's not a hard sensation to fight. You know, for races like lupins and dragonborns and bugbears and races like that, they have a little more issue with it. They tend to try to lock themselves away from the eclipse to fight this feeling. And you know that lycanthropes especially go wild during these eclipses. And you know that they tend to become extremely aggressive and much harder to kill during these times. And you also notice that as you guys come up, the feathers around Jabber's head seem to kind of flare up as he's looking around nervously, as he seems to be getting the same sensation that you are getting.
I'm gonna say to Jabbers, stay close to me.
I'm gonna put my hand on his head to calm him down.
He kind of lets out like these soft, like very low coos, very nervous sounding coos as you guys continue to walk to the castle. Upon getting to the gates, the two guards that are standing by the side gate for his part of the castle kind of look to one another, and one steps forward and says, what do you bring with you?
Well, who wants to step forward?
You can.
D's. No, I step forward.
I'd love to, but I don't know what we're taking.
Kosho steps forward and says, "We have official business with the prince. We have a vial that may be able to cure his lycanthropy."
Lycanthropy.
lycanthropy.
The guard kind of puts a hand up for you to stop, and he says, "No. Who is this?"
He's someone who assaulted us. We were going to bring him in for questioning.
He gestures to the other guy, says, we will take care of him. You can
Just
head
take him
inside."
to the prison and let us
Yeah,
know
and
where he is.
The
Thank
other
you.
guard goes up to Jotun and first takes the guy from him, and begins to kind of carry him off elsewhere. The other guard says, "All right, come with me. I'll bring you to the prince." And he turns around and opens the gate and begins leading you guys inside. Upon arrival, you when you enter the main chamber, that main kind of living area, there's nobody in there. It's empty right now.
Where did
And
everybody go? Go. Just
And-
Calder just
I'm
speaks it. and there's no
all
echo.
alone.
And
Whoa.
as you guys make your way through the chamber, Garrison, in his bald elven appearance, walks out, and he says, he says, "It looks like you all were successful." He says, "Do you have the vial?"
Maybe. What's it
Yes,
to ya?
and I'll hand it to him.
He looks over it with a slight smile on his face. He says, "Excellent." He says, "I can't wait to learn the secrets this thing holds." He says, "If you're wondering where the others are, they're watching over the prince. He is in his containment and is lashing out quite heavily, I have to say."
Possibly due to the lunar eclipse, but
He says,
we will see how that has an effect on Jericho.
Yes. He says, "Oh, and Calder, tomorrow, if you wish to help me with this endeavor, I would be happy to have your help."
Gladly.
He says, "Excellent." He says, "Well, you all carry on with the rest of your day while I prepare for tomorrow." And he kind of gives you a nod, heads downstairs. You guys.
Oh, is that it? Is it over?
that was that conversation. You guys can go upstairs
Short
now.
campaign.
Yep, that's the end of the session. You're
Yes.
right.
Mission
Yellow
accomplished.
We did it, Patrick. We saved the city.
Fucking the prince is just ripping through someone's body. It's like, nice job.
All right,
What do y'all
so
feel like? Chinese food?
you guys are left in the chamber. You know that the others are upstairs, and Garrison has gone to the library to do his prepping. What do you
Sick,
guys want to do?
I want to head to the armory real fast to see if I can find some stuff.
Okay. What about the rest of you?
I'm going with them.
I'd like to go assist the Mr. Alchemy Man with recreating the potion.
So
Or
he's
researching the
he
potion.
said he was preparing it. He's not doing it yet. He was going to do it the next day.
Oh, understandable. Okay. I don't know. Pooh Diddy.
Yeah. You guys can go up. So I'll kind of throw options your way. You guys can hang in the lounge. You guys can go to the where you guys have been staying, where the bunks are, and relax in there. Or you can go check on the prince or the armory, as one of you has wanted to do.
I'll go to the armory as well then. Or Kosho will also go to the armory.
Okay.
Just
I'm
to
gonna
study,
Look
study
at
some
the
techniques.
prince.
Okay, so you all head upstairs. Around the point of the third level, Calder continues ascending. Is everyone else stopping in the armory?
See.
Yes, okay. So we'll get you in a second, Calder. So the rest of you, what are you looking for specifically in the armory?
I'm looking for scale mail and silver arrows.
All right. Well, considering you guys have been in here before, I'm not going to make you roll an investigation. There is no scale mail.
Yeah.
It's all weapons in here. There are silver tipped arrows, and you
Okay.
can. There's about a bundle of 20 of them.
I'm gonna go ahead and grab that just in case.
Okay, so you take those. Is anyone else looking for anything in this armory?
Is there a smith included in the armory, or is it just weaponry?
It's pre-made weapons that have been brought here. It's usually it's all common stuff. It's like
Is the,
silvered
Okay.
short swords and long swords and stuff like that.
is there a sparring mat?
Um,
That'd
I
probably
would,
be out, right?
yeah, you would. Most people fight in the courtyard if they're going to do sparring. There's
Oh,
not really
gotcha.
anything in this room.
I'll go there
Um,
next.
But what were you saying?
I'll go to the courtyard next after everyone's done in the armory because I was also gonna go train.
I'll
Okay.
spar with you. I'll spar with you.
Is there any like crossbows in here?
There are crossbows, yes.
Are they different than what I have?
They would be about the same. What do you have? You have a light crossbow?
I think I just have a regular crossbow.
It's a light, a heavy, and a hand crossbow are the three you can have.
Oh, I think I have a light crossbow then.
He has a light, yeah.
Okay, yeah. There would be a heavy one in here as well, but like it's common gear. This is stuff that you would be able to buy at a shop for like a couple silver, a couple gold.
What's the difference between a heavy and a light crossbow?
I think,
Damage and two-handed.
Heavy is martial and two-handed.
yeah.
Oh, okay. I don't have proficiency in that. I don't think.
Yeah, that's like the big difference.
I gotcha.
Okay, so you guys collect your stuff, and there is a courtyard outside the tower. So I guess you guys all head out there, and we'll go to Calder. Calder, you get up to the 4th level, and as you're getting there, you just hear howling and banging and scraping.
Bang.
And as you get up there, you see there's a couple of guards. There's a couple of guards running around. There's one or two injured individuals who seem to be a little bloodied. You see Agrog and one of the other knights pressing against the door, trying to hold it shut, while Zeldrif
Oh
is
shit.
Zeldrif is in a hurry. He is sprinkling what looks to be gold powder over this metal kind of metal sheet, thick metal like sheet, and he yells to Agrog in Draconic, and the knight rushes away from the door as Agrog jumps back and casts a thunder wave. And you see from inside the chamber, you see Jericho get launched to the back of the chamber before Agrog ducks out of the way, and you see Zeldrif mutter a few arcane words, draw a symbol in the air, and the metal sheet fling up into the doorway and seem to stick in place in front of this doorway.
Dog.
And then a few seconds pass before you hear Jericho slam on the other side of it, scraping away at it and howling, but with no avail.
Yeah.
And Zeldrif lets out a sigh of relief and turns and notices you as you've entered the room. He says, I assume your endeavors were successful.
I really want to say no, but I'll say yes. I'll say, yeah, we made the trade, but sadly got jumped a little bit on the way back up, so a few of us are still recovering. I want to make sure that Jericho was still here before resting, just on personal terms.
Yes, he's still contained, luckily. And you see him walk over to where this metal sheet is, and he sits down on the ground and pulls out it reaches into a bag of holding and pulls out a spell book. He says, just a little bit of extra reinforcement. It seems Jericho knew a little bit more about the arcane than we knew. He broke the wards on the containment, and we
So-
don't know how.
All that's left is the physical container.
Yes, the wall should hold, and this sheet should hold, but until then, and you see him starting to begin a ritual from his spellbook. He says, uh, until the eclipse is over, I'm going to stay here and make sure he can't get through the door.
Would you like some assistance on that spell?
He says, no. He says, it'll take me 11 minutes, but the sheet should hold. The spell on it is quite powerful.
I understand.
So, he does look at you, though, and he says, so what do you know? Magic-wise.
Well, and Calder will pull out his spell book and flip through. And I'll say, not much, but I do know enough to get me by. My parents said that, well, my parents and my teachers, they said that I had very ease with flame magic, so I tend to stick to that, but branching out and learning some utility spells is very useful.
He gives you a slight nod and continuing to cast the spell, and he says, well, you do seem like the pyromantic type. He says, have you ever... Is there
The
any,
romantic type. Uh-oh.
is there any type of magic that you've been looking to possibly get your hands on?
A few spells here and there that I've seen, but a few of them are a little bit more powerful than what I'm used to, but it's just been tough not finding a teacher where I am now. Trying to find a time to go back home to the college again, but doesn't seem like I'll be going back anytime soon.
Nerd.
Well, I would say, when this is all said and done, I might be willing to teach you a spell or two.
Thank you. I'd greatly appreciate that. Is there any way, shape, or form that I could repay you or contact you about this?
I think what you've done here so far would probably suffice.
Thank you. I greatly appreciate that.
Garrison has put in a word or two. He seems fond.
Sounds good. Making friends may have their benefits here.
Yes. And thinking about it, Garrison isn't fond of most. He's not fond of most, so I would take that greatly into consideration.
Thank you. It's an honor hearing that come from you.
Ooh, he likes you.
And
And is this Agrog or...
This is Zeldrif. This is the Aarakocra, the Archmage.
Okay.
And he gives you a nod, and he looks down at his book, and about 3 or 4 seconds later, this dome appears. This white, opaque dome appears around him, and you can no longer see him within the bubble that he has produced. And you can identify this spell as, considering
The
you
tiny
have
fortress. Or Leoman's tiny hut.
yeah, you know it's Lamon's tiny hut. And you know the way he's positioned it, it is pressing against the metal sheet that he is upheast to the doorway.
Mhm.
And he is now sitting guard, waiting.
Jesus Christ.
What? that was my mouse wheel, sorry. And around this point, you seeing Agrog slowly kind of walks past you, kind of gives you a slight nod, and keeps walking. The rest of the chamber is just the guards and such that are, some are tending to others' wounds. They're the two's wounds. The other ones are to take their post on either side of the hut. But other than that, it seems that things have calmed down for the most part in this chamber. You wish to do anything else?
I guess hearing that he has it under control, I'm gonna go back to the barracks and take a rest because I'm on 4 HP.
All right, so you go and rest. Let's go to the other ones. Orion, you said you were praying or meditating? Was it?
Oh no, Kosho was gonna go to the courtyard and
Spar practice.
Oh, you were just joining him. You were just joining.
yeah, I was just gonna go with him just in
Okay.
case it happens.
Yeah, so you all head out to the courtyard.
Is there
and-
anybody else there?
There's a few guards standing posts in various spots, but
Specs is going with Orion.
yeah, I know the three of you are out there. So yeah, the three of you are standing in this courtyard. It's not huge by any means. It mainly serves as the walkway from the gate that you guys came in to the tower. But there is a pretty large grass patch that you are able to kind of claim as a sparring area if you wish. I'm gonna let you guys play this out because you guys take control of this. You guys are doing your thing.
I'm gonna take a seat on the grass and just kind of watch.
So are we doing this with or without weapons?
It's a conversation between you two. RP this, go.
Specs, have you ever used a mace before?
In what way?
For the killing way. What other way to use a mace?
There are many ways to use a mace.
I can let you borrow mine, and you can show me what other ways you can use a mace.
I can do that.
All right, give it a whirl.
I'm going to hand you Balrus, and take your mace.
All right, cool.
Oh, and because you don't know this, Balrus is they're called beholders, but it's like a miniature, more adorable version of a beholder.
Nice.
And they're not dangerous by any means, and they have a calming effect to whoever's holding them.
Oh, this seems like a mistake.
Oh, no. All right, so if you don't want the calming thing, you can make a wisdom save of 12, but I have no intention of harming you, especially when you're holding him.
Oh no, I meant like I feel like I'm worried about you going into like a rage or something.
No, so he has it. It's not gonna do that.
Okay.
No, it has its specific purposes when it comes to it, but he doesn't go into a blind rage all the time. He's not like a barbarian
I'm an angsty teen that has temperament issues, basically. And yeah, so it's nothing's bad's gonna happen.
Yep, so role play your thing. Come on, guys, let's do this. Want to hear what you
All right, let's see it. Let's see the mace work.
Okay, so first off, when using a mace, most people think that the giant part at the end is the only part that you can use to deal damage. But in reality, you can use every part of the mace to deal damage. Getting hit by the chains hurts just as much as getting hit by the ball. Maybe a little bit less, but just about the same.
A mace doesn't have a
Mace is a stick with the.
Oh wait,
with
sorry.
the-
I'm thinking
not a
thinking
flail.
I'm not thinking of a flail.
So
Alright.
Kosho, while you guys have been bickering over how to use a mace, he's been just doing his stretches. You know, he's in downward dog, doing pike positions, doing planks, and he hears y'all talking about the mace, and he says, "So, are you able to use the mace from the spiked end? Like
can use it from
specifically
the-
holding on to it?
Yes,
How so?"
just like this, and I'm gonna throw it at you.
What the?
roll an attack.
All right. How
Uh,
does deflect missiles, by the way? How does that deflect missile work? Does that work in this instance?
That's I think deflect missile is any ranged attack that is magic.
Ranged weapon attack. Yep.
Yeah. So
I'm doing it non-lethal, by the way.
okay.
Just gonna just lob it over there.
What would I roll? I don't have a mace on my sheet. Fuck.
And you want me to roll for it, or?
Sure. Well,
Oh, I got a 22.
All right. Well, we'll roll damage.
What's
Wait, what happened? Sorry, I was responding to
He
something.
got a 22 to hit on the throwing mace.
Damn. Okay. If you want, so roll damage for it, and if you want to do the not deflect, you can do catch missiles. I think it's called.
Yeah, or
You can
catch, deflect,
reduce
either
you can
one.
reduce the damage. Deflecting means you throw it back.
Okay.
So roll damage against him for throwing the mace.
what's the damage die?
3.
Okay, that's fine.
So it's 3 damage.
Only 1d6? That's a lot less than I thought it was gonna be.
All right, Kosha, roll. I think you probably catch that with ease.
So that's
Well, it's a 20. It's a 22 to hit, but it's 3 to.
It's
damage.
3 damage. Monks can reduce the damage, and if it's 0, they catch the object.
so
Okay.
my only reaction here is deflect missiles attack. Which one do I go for? Hit or damage? Because I'm rolling for the damage, or am I rolling to hit because I'm trying to catch it?
Let me double check your thing. Deflect missiles. Let's see. Yeah. So the deflect missiles is just you're rolling. So you catch this because you have a +7 on your thing. You roll a d10 +7 to catch whatever item it is. So you catch this mace with ease. It's like something out of like the Matrix. Just like you catch it in your hand. Hold it there for a second.
And then I say, but you see, it's much easier just to hit people with it than it is to throw it at them.
Good arm.
Thank you.
I hope you use it wisely next time.
But that's why I'm much more of a fan of my great axe.
More range.
More range, easier
Can't
to
really
please
throw it
people
as far.
into.
Can't throw it as
Oh,
far.
I mean, you can throw it.
I'm not gonna ask you to see how far you can throw the great axe because I feel like this is gonna end poorly. So I'm just gonna ask for my mace back, and I'll give you your little guy over here.
Sounds good. Does anybody want to spar? Isn't that why we're out here?
Oh, I just came out here to watch.
Okay. Well then, do you want to spar?
My man needs to rest. He's at 9 HP, my man.
We.
I mean, I could. Well, wait. Can I do my what is it? My hand of healing on myself? Can I punch myself in the chest to give myself health back, or is that not how that works?
I don't think that's how Hand of Healing works.
It's only for others, right?
What's your max health?
If I punch myself,
31.
Can I heal myself?
I'm gonna lay on hands you for 20 health.
Oh, splendid.
You know, either you need health because I can do
That's very generous. I mean, I'm down to spar. It's just I don't know if we should spar for that much of the campaign.
Yeah, you can heal yourself because it's as an action. You touch a creature, and you are a creature, and you can touch yourself.
Splendid.
Bro, you're gonna touch yourself in front of us to heal yourself?
That's kind of weird, bro.
Get a room.
My God. Okay.
No, yeah, but other than that, I don't know. Let's just meditate and wait for whenever the prince calls on us. Or
I'm just gonna
Calder,
lay
I guess,
back
in
in the
this
grass and feel the
instance.
grass on my feathers.
Is there a smith nearby? I'd like to make some sort of silver brass knuckles or some sort of, I don't know, silver
Yes, there
based.
is. I love some scale mail.
More silver based rings or some sort of holy symbol to keep them away.
There is no smith within the castle at this time that you know of, because you've only been in about maybe an eighth of the castle. You don't know. This castle is very large. You've only been in one tower.
Understandable.
You could go out in town and find one, but during this point, usually business, based on the experience, well, Kosha might not know this, but the others may know this, that during these eclipses, usually businesses kind of shut down, and people tend to not be out as much, in order to avoid individuals who may have gone feral, or to avoid the temptations themselves, stuff like that.
I'm gonna look over at Kosho and Orin and be like, "Where's the Kinku?"
Jabbers?
Yes.
That is an excellent question.
Where did we last see him?
When we were walking up the ramp.
Let's see.
Yeah, he was with me and Oren.
So you guys remember he was with you all the way into the tower. You don't know where he went after that.
Gotcha.
He didn't follow any of us into the armory, did he?
Probably just went to the barracks of the lounge just to rest.
Yeah.
He did get a little spooked.
Bird nap.
That's a little racist.
Yeah, those are
What,
some
do birds
strong
not
birds
nap?
there.
Do birds not nap?
We're not
Yeah, but why
birds.
does it have to be a bird nap? Why can't it just be a normal nap?
We're not birds.
I mean, I could say cat nap, but that doesn't describe the analogy. Doesn't make the joke, does it? Fuck you.
My existence is a joke to you?
You think racism is a joke? What the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah, okay.
I'll have you know the Archmage isn't Aarakocra. You wouldn't call him the Bird Wizard, would you?
You know what? Yes, I would.
Go do that right now. I guarantee he'll fucking bring that ward down, and Jericho will come right at that containment unit.
Nah, I'd get some bad karma. For
You guys
that.
don't know about that.
Hey
you
guys,
you guys
this
don't know
guy
about
just
that.
said the B word. He said bird. He said the B word. It's
Osho's canceled.
As you guys are arguing, you actually notice that some of these guards are eyeing you confused, kind of confusively, and
the fuck are you looking at, Four Eyes?
the one you yelled at out just kind of gives you a stern look and just keeps watching. Doesn't say anything.
Birds.
Mm-hmm.
Hey,
Alright,
excuse
should
me,
we
guard.
go-
Is
should
there a
we
smithy
look-
in the castle?
Repeat that because other people are talking.
I'm gonna turn to the guards and be like, "Hey, excuse me, guards. Is there a smithy in the castle we can go to?"
The guards kind of look between each other, kind of trying to figure out which one's going to answer. And this shorter human man kind of lets out a sigh and steps forward. He says, "There is the royal forge master, but you have to have permission from the king to speak with him."
The king. Okay.
Yes, the king.
We only have prince level access, I guess.
It would
Or
seem
we can
that
just
way.
go talk to him and deal with the consequences later.
I would not suggest that.
Please don't. Please don't.
I feel like now
I hear
we-
that and immediately I'm like frantically pressing my unmute button.
I feel like now is not the time to bother the king. I feel like he has some other things to worry about.
The king is very
I
busy,
mean-
yes.
We're currently saving his son from other things, so I mean, like, would he really be that pissed off if we went and looked around the castle?
I don't know. Somebody might be offended if you ask them to make the weapon that you might use to kill their son.
Yeah, well, you also
This isn't
say
Destiny.
racist things. You also say racist things, so I mean,
You also threw a mace at your your party member, so
Be glad I didn't throw it right back at you.
yeah, I wasn't planning on hurting you. You seem like you had fast hands. What, you think just because I'm a Goliath that I'm a dick? That's fucked up, bro.
no, I think you're a dick because you're a dick.
Yeah, okay, bud.
The guard just kind of standing there, just
He's just sitting there, just like,
Yeah.
what the fuck are these?
he's
idiots
unsure of what he should do. Kind of shakes his head a little bit and returns to his post.
Well, I guess we can just rest for now.
Yeah, time for the short rest.
That's what I'm doing.
So you guys heading inside again?
Is it a short rest or a long rest?
You guys would be able to take a long rest. So you know, as of right now, there's nothing that you are needed to do for the rest of the day. And as of right this moment, it's about probably 2 or 3 in the afternoon. It took you a little bit after you guys made your way up to get back to the castle. And the only reason you can tell that is because of the halo of a sun that is floating in the darkness above.
Black hole sun.
Yeah. As you guys are
Yeah,
making your way back inside, Agrog steps out, kind of moves out of the way so you guys can pass. Kind of glances towards you, Specs, as he passes by.
What you looking at, bud?
He doesn't
What's
respond.
wrong, buddy?
He just
Got a
keeps
scare?
walking. Yeah,
Got a staring problem?
he just keeps walking.
Let's not upset the hall monitor, Sex. Let's just go back to the barracks.
Yeah, I bet it's because I'm a Goliath. Whatever.
I don't think Goliath racism is as rampant
You
as you think.
hear him as you're walking away and you say that. You hear him give a soft chuckle as he continues to walk. But other than that, he doesn't say anything to you. He just keeps walking.
Okay.
Oh, this is a random question, but does anyone know what an Eric Coker's favorite snack is?
Probably seeds.
That seems
Crackers.
That is so unbelievably racist.
Come on now.
This is D&D at its pinnacle right now.
So unbelievably racist.
We need to make a
Making
on this
everything.
on this thought.
Everything about race. It's gonna be so bad.
On this thought, you guys should make a sideshow about D&D.
Racism.
Not just racism, but like, what's the word I'm looking for?
Discrimination.
No, when it's like when you do something that's like debatable. I can't think of the word I'm looking for.
Based.
Not based.
Hey!
I'll come up with it later. But let's continue the story. So you guys head back inside. You guys are just gonna take a long rest.
Yeah.
Long
Can
rest?
we have
Do we have
one of those,
time?
those,
Oh,
like,
Yeah,
yeah.
you have the time.
Have one of those
Alright.
dog commercials where it's like these poor dogs with 2 cents a day, but they're just like goblins and tieflings and kobolds that like they can be treated like humans too.
These little rats, man. You could
These
save
little
them.
fuckers.
Jesus.
I mean, this one here is wearing a
Society's
bucket on his head.
abandoned them, and we will too.
Yikes.
Controversial. That's what it is. Make a podcast about controversial D&D topics.
Bro,
There you
I'll
go.
do it. No balls. Dude, that'd be so fun.
much racist.
About what is racist in D&D. Yeah,
Well,
just
aren't
do
people
dumb shit.
canonically racist towards tieflings? Like, isn't that an actual thing?
Yeah,
The
people-
elves are like just
Yeah.
the elves are just like conservative white people.
That's
Okay,
exactly what it
all
is.
right. Let's
All
get
right,
back to the
let's get to
back
the story.
game.
We will save this for an actual other podcast that one of you is allowed to make. So
It's gonna be me.
you guys all kind of get into the bunks. Jabbers is already there. He's kind of. You had noticed the night before he had picked a kind of a corner to rest in, and seems to be messing with something in his hand as he's quietly singing to himself in the corner. But whatever it is, you can't see it from where you are as you guys enter the room. So, what are you guys wanting to do during this period of rest? Is there anything you want to do specifically, or are you just sleeping?
Fucking sleep. What do you mean? I'm on 4 HP.
Calder just passes the fuck out. Just
Yeah, he
gone.
literally just walks up to the foot of his bed and just flops onto it and
Someone hit the
knocks out.
ragdoll button and he didn't even make it to the bed.
He just
knocks
smacks
it
into
to
the side
floor.
of it and fucking
Yes.
gets knocked out. That's his long rest, his head trauma.
Trauma for a long
And you
rest.
also notice upon entering the room as well, along one of the walls too, Kellic is sitting there. He's polishing
Hey,
his
boy.
halberd as he's sitting there along the wall quietly, not really paying you guys much attention as he's doing this. Kind of keeping quiet and keeping to himself as he's, resting and polishing his weapon. So as you guys are taking your rest and due to the scenario of everything that's happened, you guys probably sleep. You guys are going to end up sleeping a very long time because you guys are wiped, and this eclipse also may be causing some ability to sleep better due to the effects of it.
No, that's unsettling.
As this
I love
is
how
happening, I
we just
need.
show up in
I
the
have
middle of the day because it's an eclipse and
Yes.
then knock the fuck out.
I have 2 things I need. Calder, I need you to roll 2d6s. Specs, I need you to roll a d20 insight check.
Insight. Oh,
4.
4.
what is insight under?
All right,
Wisdom.
Calder.
Is
Uh,
Wisdom. Oh, thank God. All
in
right.
the night,
Nat
you
28 plus 2. Nat 20
Let's
plus
fucking
2.
go.
okay.
Augur?
Calder. Let me go through this real quick. Calder, you have a vision come to you in the night.
Oh shit.
You have a vision of the prince. You are standing with him near one of the balconies. He is smiling to you as he drinks from this fine golden chalice. And as he sips, he goes to say something to you before his words are cut off, and he drops the chalice. You see, as the chalice is slow, it seems that time slows during this vision, and as the chalice is falling from his hand, you see the veins in his neck turning a dark purple as he clenches his throat, struggling to breathe. And he slowly collapses to the ground in front of you. You trying to help him stay on his feet before he goes limp. Or not limp. He hits the ground and is shaking uncontrollably for several seconds. His eyes rolling back, foam forming on the sides of his mouth before he grows still. And the vision fades to
Get the
black.
blanket.
Though normally your visions usually fade and you wake up, this one you feel almost like a cold breeze passes over you for a moment before you get a vision of Svex walking out of the castle in the darkness of the eclipsed night. His eyes blankly staring forward as he is making his way out the gate past the guards who don't give him much mind, and slips out of sight of the castle. And he pauses for a moment. And as he's standing there, you notice there's blood dripping from his nose, from the edges of his eyes, and a little bit coming from his mouth as he looks up into the sky. And there's a pause. Just for a brief moment before this horrific scene as he begins to bleed profusely until his body has been engulfed in blood, forming that bloodhound you had seen before. And it smiles, looking what you feel like straight at you for only a moment before it rushes off into the night. Disappears.
Is Svex's body still there? Or
No.
is the body taken with
The blood engulfed the body. And it was a part of the body that ran off. Okay.
Grody.
Specs. All right. So
Yerg?
actually, real quick, and as he runs in the night, your vision fades, and you come to. You were the first to wake up, Calder, and you look around, and Specs is nowhere to be found. Everyone else is in their beds, but Specs is missing. Or Specs. Specs, when you go to sleep, you manage to somehow slip into a deep sleep for a moment. You don't know if it's the eclipse or something else, but you fall asleep. And there's a long while of just darkness, which is you're used to of not having dreams, before you hear Azazel's voice in a soft laugh. And he says, "The more you fight me, the harder I am to control. Your resolve to control me is my power over you, making me more difficult to handle. But if you work with me, and like I'm an equal, my need and requirement will be less. Either way, you'll learn this, or things are going to be extremely difficult for the both of us." And you hear him cackle before visions come to you in these blurred memories of from your point of view, 5 goblins being struck down in the night and drained of blood before you wake. And when you wake, you find yourself staring at the ceiling of the library. You get that familiar smell of books. And as you go to move, you feel shackles on your wrist and your legs, holding you down to this table. As you hear Agrog let out a grunt, you turn your head and see him sitting in a chair not far from you, reading a book. Garrison off near one of the shelves, looking at a vial of blood that he has collected from somewhere, and is muttering to himself as he's looking it over.
You could
Is
just
it
say
my blood?
false facts, yeah.
Agrog gets to his feet, and he pulls out a key, and he says, "You're lucky. I'm the one that found you."
Yeah, I don't feel so lucky.
Also, thinking about this too, you feel, when you wake up from this, you feel rejuvenated. You have more energy than you feel that you've ever had. There is this surge of energy pumping through you that is new from this experience. And he just kind of looks at you and he says, "Well, it could have been worse." He says, "The original owner of your curse could have found you instead of me. Or maybe the guard. Or Zeldrif. It could have been anyone. But I'm the one that found you." And he unshackles your legs. You gonna say you have anything?
I'm gonna like rub like my hands on from where they were shackled, and I'm gonna say, "What happened?"
You killed 5 goblins, so it's nothing too out of the ordinary. They'll probably blame it on a vampire attack or something, considering you drained them dry before I found you. Or should I say, your little friend, who wasn't so little at the time, did it.
Valorous?
No.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Who is that?
Whoa.
Who's that?
The bloodhound inside of you.
Wait, are you saying who's Valorous, Evan?
It's Calder in this campaign, forehead.
Yeah, Calder.
Oh, were you asking who's that? Because
As a
Valorous
joke.
is the beholder.
Oh. Never mind.
Yeah.
No, he says, no, speaking of the bloodhound within you, that curse. The thing that decided it wanted to hunt last night. The thing that, based on my knowledge, and he looks back at his book a little bit, you seem to be fighting based on the events that have unfolded. And he closes the book.
Yeah. I like to be in control of my life and the things that I do. And letting someone take over is not my idea of fun.
Well, that's a shame, isn't it? He sets his book down on the chair. He was on another table and leans against that table with his arms crossed. He says, "Would you like to know the origins of your curse? Because I know."
Why not? I got time.
Well, the original owner of that curse of yours, which is part of him, was a blood hunter by the name of Lyman. A Lupin man about, I don't know, 300-400 years ago, who was experimented on by a witch. His being fractured by her into 3 separate entities that she used in producing 3 cursed runes. The one the king has, the one you have, and another that I have not seen. Due to this blood hunter's ability to control his lycanthropy and his blood magic, it only made sense that the three forms that he produced when he was fractured was the Bloodhound within you and the Lycan within the Prince. These curses, which very little is known about them, have been passed around for the last 400 years. You're not the first to have the Bloodhound. You probably won't be the last. But if the legend is correct, the body that was left behind when he was fractured takes on a undead Lupin appearance and is bound to an individual, but it's more a curse for him than anyone else. The Bloodhound you have, if the books are correct, can be bartered with. The last one who had it simply said it became easier to work with if it was allowed to kill when it was summoned. But past endeavors have also talked of those who have fought it to the point where it would summon itself at random, make it difficult for night's rest, recovery, and other such things. Jericho, well, we all know about Jericho. But does that answer any of your questions that you might have about this thing?
For now, it does.
Good.
However, I will decide how I shall deal with it, as it's my body and my curse.
I only offer warnings. Nothing else. I don't control you, and I have no plan to.
That's a good idea.
So are you leaving? Are you going to leave the room, or are you sticking around?
I guess I'll just stick around. I'm sure that we all have to meet up with them anyways.
Just kind of sits there and doesn't move from his spot, just kind of eyeing you from his position. Garrison's off to the side, places the vial of blood into a box along with a couple other vials and closes it.
I'm gonna say, is that my blood?
Garrison turns and kind of smiles and says, "Well, aren't you just an insightful one?" "Yes, of course. I'm trying to learn about your little curse, but I needed blood. And, well, what better time to take it than when you were incapacitated?"
I'd like it back, please.
"I can't do that. Sorry." He picks up the box and disappears. Alright, so for the rest of you, you all wake up. Calder's the first awake. You do find Calder upon getting up and looking around the room. His beholder is still there. It is sitting on his bed. It is asleep itself, but he is nowhere to be found. The others are slowly coming to consciousness around this point. And the only ones who aren't waking up, Jabber still seems to be in a deep sleep, muttering under his breath as he is sleeping, and Kellic is also in a partial sleep. He's not. You can tell he's not quite asleep, but he's not awake either. Is there anything you would wish to do as you wake up?
Morning stretches.
Morning stretches. Okay.
This guy.
Calder.
Just reading over my book.
Is the alchemist awake?
You wouldn't know that unless you left the room.
Well, gentlemen, here we go. I'm off to go find the alchemist.
to see the wizard, the
And
wonderful Wizard
when
of
he
Oz.
says that, Calder, it does come to mind that he did mention he wanted to work with you if you wished.
Right.
So, so you are heading out, Orion, or Kosho?
Yes.
Kosho
I
is.
just ask if any of my services are required, and that I would also like to learn the formula so I can recreate it at the monastery.
Oh,
Yeah.
that alchemist. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna go to that.
Okay, so you guys,
That's just Garrison.
yeah, you two get up, and
Like, what alchemist?
Orion, what are you doing?
Um,
You can sleep in if you want. That's your choice.
I'm gonna roll over and groan and lay there for a little bit longer because not really sure what I'm supposed to do right now.
Okay.
I might go to there's a archery range.
Yeah, we can cover that in a minute.
Cool.
So Kosho and Calder, you both head out of the chamber and head downstairs. As you guys enter the common area, you notice Zeldrif is sitting drinking a cup of tea while reading from a large tome that is floating in front of him, about maybe 6 inches from him.
Because I know what 6 inches is exact. No, I'm joking.
Yeah,
He looks
It's
up
like-
to you and just says, "Morning." He's
You as
looking
well.
over his tome.
Hi.
Have you made any starting moves on it, or were you waiting for us?
This is Zeldrif, not Garrison.
Oh shit. Oh, okay. I'll say good morning. How was the night? Uh was Jericho working as much
He-
working with us as much as he could?
He settled at the part of the night, which is why I'm here now. He shouldn't be able to get through that barrier that I've produced. I did a couple more reinforcements to it. I will have to dispel it, though, once the time comes. 'Cause
Has
it
he
will
been up
not-
all night dealing with this werewolf?
Yep.
I don't
Damn.
get much sleep, as it is.
Well,
Do
that should
my-
be soon to
do-
change.
Do my hands of healing make people more awake? I could give
No.
this dude a little caffeine shot. Never
No,
mind.
it does not.
How do you spell his name, by the way?
Zeldrif?
Yeah.
Zeldriff.
FF. Okay.
2 Fs.
Yes, there's 2 Fs. It says, how did all of you sleep through the night?
Very well. Are we getting a long rest, by the way? I forgot to ask.
You guys took a long rest.
Oh, fuck.
Including Specs somehow got a long rest. But he
Pog.
did.
Well, I mean, I don't sleep as it is. I just
Yeah.
rest. I guess it would be the same thing, basically.
Yeah. And he just, as he's looking at his tome, he says, "Is there anything I can help you with while you're down here, or are you just passing through?"
I do have a question about the magic that you were talking to me about, but it can wait.
Of course, whenever you're ready.
And I'll turn to Kosha and say, if there's nothing with you as well, we can go ahead and make our way.
I'm anxious to start.
We're gonna switch back to Specs real quick. Considering you probably woke up about an hour before the others, you'd sat down there for quite some time before a certain point passes in Agrog. After you guys have been sitting there in silence, kind of staring at each other disdainfully for about an hour, he finally stands up. And
No,
says,
not disdainfully, lustfully. Okay, get it right.
No, it's disdainful. He doesn't like you. And he doesn't care that he shows that. He stands up and he says, "Well, you should probably find your friends. I have work to do." He heads over, picks up his book, and begins to start looking through the shelves. Again, as he's kind of finally just gone out of sight of you.
I'm gonna walk over to where you just walked to and stand next to him.
Ooh, actually, I do have one question for Zeldrif. Kosho hasn't had many experiences with Jericho, so he wanted to ask him just more personality-based questions. What gets under his skin? What makes him talk? Things like that.
Yeah, we'll get to that in just a moment once we figure out
I can just tell you that as well,
the
because
current predicament. Yeah, he does have some notes. He could send you stuff. So you're just standing next to Agrog?
Yeah, and I'm gonna be like, "Why don't you like me?"
Without even looking at you, he says, "Not you specifically, but I don't care for Sarstag. That's all."
What are you, a nationalist?
now it is a race thing.
No, it's a nation thing. It's a xenophobia
Yeah.
thing.
He says, "No." He says, "I'm just someone who has seen behind the veil and doesn't like what I've seen." And you see as
You're
he
not
says
the
this,
only one.
his wings kind of almost shudder for just a moment. It seems as whatever thoughts pass through his head just does not sit well with him.
I'm gonna say you're not the only one. Why do you think I'm out here instead of back there?
Well, he says, "I hope for the both of us. Certain events don't unfold, or neither of us are going to be happy about things that'll happen in the future." He slides out a book, begins flipping through it for a moment, still not looking at you.
Damn, imagine getting a cold shoulder from a random NPC.
I'm gonna say, to be honest, Sarstag never was my favorite place. However, I have a duty, and if I must do that, or if I must perform that duty, I will. But before that, before my country, I am still thinking of myself and what's right, which isn't a common thing in Sarstag, I can tell you that.
Oh, yes, I know that very well. He puts the book back on the shelf, moves to another part of the shelves, and starts thumbing through the different spines. Is there anything else?
I'm gonna take a deep breath, and then I'm gonna say, no, I think we're done here. And then I'm going to pull a couple books off the shelf and take them with me. I don't know what books they are. I'm just taking them with me.
Just to be an ass.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so you're taking like 3 books.
Yeah.
All right.
Whether or not they'll come in handy later, I don't know. But
All right, you take the 3 books and begin heading upstairs. The other 2. So you're asking Kosho, you're asking Zeldrif about the personality stuff of
Jericho.
Jericho. He looks up from his tome. The first time he's actually looked up from his tome. He says, "Well, he is unpredictable and very short-tempered. Makes a lot of demands. Gets mad when he doesn't get them. Sort of thing. I assume you didn't see the events of last night. What happened to the containment chamber when the wards were broken? Which we did
No,
manage
but
to get back up.
No, however, I presume he acted like a child.
Like a raging barbarian baby.
Does he... I hate to ask this, but does he have any inverse qualities of the prince?
Oh, extremely. He's completely polar opposite of the prince. He is irrational.
What else has the prince taken up to try and prevent his, I guess, transformations other than the physical walls? What about the magical barriers?
Well, the magical barriers were what was keeping him in until they were broken. Jericho's a lot craftier than we thought.
Who has the knowledge of interacting with these ruins other than Jericho?
Myself. I'm the one who created them. They're supposed to
see.
be unbreakable, but apparently Jericho shares a knowledge similar to mine, or at least in runes and wards.
Interesting.
I assume this isn't his first escape from magic, and it probably won't be his last. But after tonight, will be his last with the prince.
Do we have any emergency measures or any sort of preparations in case he does break out of this box? Do we know which room he would likely?
He would probably rush down here. That is why I sit often in the lounge. And if it did come to it, I have a
Keep
few
it contained.
spells that could stop him, whether a permanent fix or something temporary that I would be able to hold him down until I had the chance to save the prince.
It's good to know that he's an impatient guy. I'll keep that in mind.
Well, you shouldn't have to worry about it much longer,
Mhm.
considering we are getting rid of that monster within the prince.
So it seems. Do
So
I
it
have?
does.
Let's see. Never mind. Sorry, I was checking inventory for stuff.
But
Right. Well, splendid.
yes.
So, where to now, folks?
Heading over to Garrison
Let's
to
do it.
do the potion.
All right. So as you guys are heading down, you see Specs coming up the stairs holding 3 books.
I didn't know you read.
Roll,
Do you want a book?
I'd like to know which books he has.
Yeah, I'd like
Roll
to grab
a-
the first one off the top of his.
Okay, you grab the book. Are you just
deck.
want to see him, or do you want to take one?
I want to read the
Elder.
the fucking spine. I just want to see what the title is.
Yeah, same here.
Okay, so the book on roll a perception check. It's not going to be a high DC because this is a fairly easy thing to do. It's not like he's trying to hide them or anything. You rolled shit, didn't you?
Crit fail.
I got a 15.
Well,
Evan's like, what books? What are you talking about?
to you, Calder,
Sorry,
the
Calder.
the
Calder
books
is like,
they look
books.
they look, they're not super old. They look a little weathered. They've seen better days. At least the top one has. You, Kosha, you can see the 3 books. The top one appears to be a book of botany. The next book also seems to be about various species of plants. And the third book is about the difference between it's kind of telling the difference between edible and poisonous plants that may disguise themselves as edible plants in order to trick creatures into consuming them and dying.
Huh. I'll keep that last one, but I give the other 2 books back to him.
Okay, you now have a book about poisonous plants that disguise themselves to be edible.
Who's this book written by? Is there an author?
Um,
Or is it a journal article?
it is a legit
Journal
book.
article.
It is a legit book, and it is written by an arch druid by the name of Salazar. I'm going to write a note.
Hello?
Hello.
Our internet is gonna crash for a few minutes, so just give us a sec.
Not mine, because I'm not using the internet right now.
Oh, during that time, can I go and get a snack?
Wait, Your internet's crashing? Why?
It's just our internet sucks dick. So
It always does that. Don't worry.
Okay. Well,
It's it's that time.
oh, does it
It's
crash
the
at a certain
most-
time of night? Is that what's
Yep.
happening?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. We've got it down to a science.
I already see people are disappearing. Oh nope. Are you back? You're on your phone now, aren't you?
No,
9:40.
I'll be in here because I'm using my phone. I've been using my phone.
Okay. So you guys do your little thing with Svex. Svex continues his way up the stairs. The rest of you, the two of you, head downstairs. Roll a perception check for me again, Kosho.
Okay. Do.
9.
16.
Okay. You see, as you descend the stairs, from between the bookcases, you see a jackal-like humanoid standing over one of the desks. And he makes eye contact with you as you are passing by the shelves. And the moment that you come into direct eyesight of him as you round this shelf, it is Garrison, the bald elven man standing there. He's looking at you both, and he gives a slight smile. He says, "Ah, I was been waiting for you, Galder, but I was not expecting you, Kosho."
I have recently taken up a few studies outside of my comfort zone, to say the least.
Ah, I see. Well,
I was
but-
hoping to be of some assistance and possibly learn more about the arts and crafts of alchemy.
Well, I think all I need is Calder. But I am willing to share any information that I get with the monastery in the end.
Perfect. As long as the monastery benefits in this equation, I'm happy as can be.
Of course.
And I guess I'll just, and then I guess I don't know, I'll watch over as they complete the computations.
Wait, I have a question.
Yes.
Is there any way that I can like try and have Sarvoth contact like Calder and Kosho in like a telepathic way?
Your god?
Yeah.
I'm going to say you can certainly try to commune with your god.
This guy. I'm just gonna
roll to pray.
pray. Roll to simp for your god. I'm just gonna say, Sarvoth, if you'd be so kind to let them know that I wouldn't trust Garrison so easily.
Silence kind of follows the whispers around your head, continuing, and for a moment, it's silence as you're walking up the stairs. You hear the sound of something clinking, the sound of dice, but then silence follows. You don't know if it's confirmation or rejection that you have received.
Dope.
And for the other two, Garrison is looking through a box. You see several vials. Calder, you can see within this box, you see the cure that you had procured, as well as a vial of blood and a couple of other unknown liquids within different vials that Garrison is looking over, and he picks up the cure, looks at it for a moment, smiles, sets it back down. He says, "Well, shall we get to my lab?" And he offers you a hand as he picks up the box, Calder.
Yes, of course.
And as your hand makes contact, he casts Dimension's Door, and you both bam out of the room.
See you later, nerd. No.
Oh, so y'all just teleport.
He
Okay.
said he didn't need your help because it's the whole like him keeping up his facade of the
I
thing.
still need to make sure that I know the recipe.
I was gonna whisper. I'll let you know the information later, but
Yeah, you say that
Grazie.
before the teleport happens, and then he teleports you. The moment you guys appear, you have entered. You appear within the room with the teleportation circle, and he immediately drops his disguise, kind of grumbling a little bit as he leads you to a doorway across from where his quarters were. Upon entering this new room, it is a large, rectangular shaped room, kind of longer than it is wide, and it is filled with various tables of alchemy materials. Along one of the shorter walls, there is an arrangement of different plants and herbs. Along another, there's a section of various tools, tongs, glassware, things of that nature. There's two rooms in the back, you notice, on either side with just a door simply labeled storage, as well as a large window along the center of the longest wall that looks to be looking into a sort of test chamber of some sort. Garrison sets down the box on one of the large alchemy stations and says, "Shall we begin?"
yes, of course.
All right, and through this time, we'll just jump through this real quick. He shows you how he breaks down what the cure is made of.
Hmm.
Taking very small amount of this actual cure, and at first you are kind of skeptical about the amount that he takes because it seems to only be like a drop or two. It doesn't seem like enough to do anything, but as you watch him dilute it and go through the process of separating various materials, casting a few spells as he's going along with this, you see he begins to produce a list over time for this cure. And it probably only takes you guys, it probably, with your help as you pass some various materials and uh, he asks you questions and you answer to the best of your ability, you guys managed to, within about 3 hours, produce a second cure. Uh, which he looks over and compares the two and he says, "It's perfect." He says, "I
Where
will
did you
make
learn something like that?
Oh, I have been around for hundreds, maybe thousands of years.
Hmm.
My kind
Lich,
knows
lich, lich,
my
lich,
kind
lich, lich.
knows no age like your creatures of your kind within the material plane."
Hmm.
He gives you a softened, or not a soft smile, a toothy smile. He says, "Have you figured out what I am? Because I feel that you are lacking in that."
Mm, I've made a few guesses in my mind, but to be honest, all you are to me as of now is just a friend. So I like it like
That's
that.
good to hear. And I'd like to know what your guesses are.
Hmm. Your jackal-like appearance makes me think it's something along a Yugoloth or a similar hybrid. But out of all the research that I've done in the past and did do just for humor, that's all I could come up with.
Yes. Well, my kind has done a very good job of keeping themselves under the mortal radar.
Mhm.
And as you probably know about Yugoloths, I am a fiend by nature. But specifically, I am an Arcanoloth.
Mhm.
And the only reason that I am here is for knowledge. Which is why you interest me so much.
I understand.
And he turns to the set down the vials and kind of moves over to another station and starts messing with something. He says, "Have you ever, I don't know, thought of the idea of producing your own spells? Maybe custom crafting your own specialties?"
It has intrigued me, but from something in my past that we can get into another day, I've been a little fearful of the thought. By now, I feel my usage and control over the mana weave mm, is great enough to try something along the lines of that, but as of late, only thoughts and dreams of what I could do.
Well, I, even though you have a scarred past, as I could tell, you have a very bright future. Or at least I can tell. You have much potential. I think with the right training, you could probably become greater than our Archmage.
Wow.
But
I will not
who
tell
can
him
really
you said that, for I fear he would become jealous. But I appreciate that.
He is a man of motive and what is the word I'm looking for?
Honor.
No, he does not react or pursue things based on emotion.
Hmm.
It's more of the pursuit of knowledge and
Logic.
yes, that would work. Yes.
I see. A good wizard knows not to have emotion behind his purpose. So
Yes.
I understand why he is the Archmage now.
Yes, and
But
unlike
I was gonna say, if we are closing up here, I feel a little antsy now. Now that we have the potion created, I would very much enjoy seeing this work.
well, we're going to have to wait until the eclipse is over.
Ah, I see.
But during the time that we have, and he reaches into one of the many pockets of his robe. He pulls out what looks to be a communication crystal, which you've seen multiple times now,
Ooh.
and he lets it float from his hand, casting Mage Hand as it floats towards you. He says, "If you ever decide to pursue this route of self-made potion, or not potions, spells, self-made spells, of crafting your own custom arcane ability, I would love to be able to learn of these things. That's all I crave is knowledge."
If I find anything, I will let you know.
He gives you a nod. He then, uh, setting a few things down, grabs one of the vials and then offers a hand to you. He says, "Shall we return?"
Yes.
And as you make contact again, you reappear in the library. Kosha, what were you doing during the time that he was gone?
I would like to. Well, okay. So, what is the room? Uh, I guess the room that we're in before he disappeared into his laboratory.
It's the library, and Agrog's been sitting in there reading off to the side.
I guess I'll be studying some of the literature in the room while I wait.
Is there anything you're looking for specifically, or
Um, I guess what you actually yeah my character's interested with the lycanthropy, so he's just reading up on anything else that comes of use.
okay,
Just
roll
trying to learn more about
a
it.
let's say roll an investigation check for me
All right.
to investigate the various books and possibly find what you were looking for.
9.
Okay. It takes you a good part of an hour and a half, so about half the time it took them to work on the potion. And you do find a book. You find a book, pretty much. Uh, it is a book simply on like a lycanthropy. Dear Lord, lycanthropy itself and the various effects of it, the various species of lycanthropes, um, the how some tales of people that have been able to embrace it and learn to control it.
Is there anything specifically about magic related lycanthropy?
So looking through this, you do not, based on that roll, you did not find anything of that nature. You
Understandable.
found it being given via the curse of lycanthropy, which is either given by bite or simply given the curse, either by magical means.
Cool.
But you also read within the book of that these curses can actually be lifted. There is a cure for them. Um, it is rare, not as rare as the cure that you found, you guys had found for Jericho, but this one is rare as well.
Okay, interesting. More rituals, more ceremonies. Something that Kosho is never gonna get not used to.
Yes. And around the time that you finish your reading, Garrison, in his elven, bald-headed form, appears brighter than my future. He appears with Calder by his side, and he is holding a piece of paper and a vial. And upon seeing you, he smiles and he offers you the paper and says, "I'm sure the monastery would value this uh, recipe."
Of course. I hope that that it benefits the city as well.
It should. Possibly all of Almoria.
That was a hasty response time, by the way. I commend y'all for your efficiency.
Yes. Well, having many years of practice, this is easy.
Virtuous deeds call for virtuous rewards. Can I give him like a mint or a candy?
Whatever you offer him, he kind of waves off. He says, I'm fine."
Understandable.
He says, "I am doing what is best for Almoria."
Forcefully give him the candy. He must
Shall
take
we?
the candy.
Shall we reconvene with the others?
If you all would like, I have
Sounds like a plan.
some other research that calls my attention. He looks to you,
Calder?
Calder. Yeah, he looks to you, Calder, and he says, "Till our next conversation." And he disappears.
Well, Kosha, I feel like we should go back to the party, make sure everyone's doing fine. So,
All right,
if you wish to leave,
during that
Hopefully, no
3 hour
more flying
period,
maces. Are,
I'm going
going
to
around.
meet
Excuse me?
Orin by the I'm gonna meet Orin by the
Orion.
range.
okay, yeah, we'll do
Orion,
that.
sorry.
So you
Orin.
actually you end up running into him when he gets up. He gets up about an hour after everyone else, considering he was sleeping in a bit. Um, when you went up to the and I feel that this would make sense. You went up to the bedchambers to get your beholder that you had not forgotten about, but you had left behind in the night due to the events that unfolded. And as you go up there, you find that Kellic is gone, and Jabbers is in the corner again, fiddling with something in his hands as he's kind of partially got his back to the doorway, muttering under his breath.
I'll let you go ahead and do stuff with Orion first, and then we can come back to here.
Oh, you're with Orion. This is
okay.
jumping back to with when Orion leaves. So Orion, you are awake.
Well, I guess to start, I'm gonna walk over to Jabbers and be like, "Hey, bud, what you doing?"
Roll a perception check with disadvantage for me real quick.
I'm not trying to see what he's doing. I'm asking.
You're not trying to see? Okay. He,
No.
you see him sit up straight. The feathers on the back of his neck kind of stick up on end for a moment, and he turns and he just looks at you. And as he turns, you don't see anything in his hands as he's turning to you. And he kind of gives you a confused coo.
I'm gonna sit down next to him and be like, "Hey, man, tinkering stuff isn't a problem. I used to whittle when I was a kid."
He just
When you
kind
were
of
a little kid.
Garrison kills Calder. No, I'm just kidding. um, he doesn't respond. He just kind of looks down at the ground and taps kind of his pointer fingers together, as if like almost he almost seems like you're the typical like response of like a kid in like the principal's office, kind of
Right.
just staring at the ground, tapping his fingers together. Doesn't really say anything.
Well, I'm gonna say, "Well, you keep at it," and then I'm gonna be like, "And can you look after Bowers for a little bit?"
He glances up and gives you a slight nod.
All right,
Holds
I'm
his
gonna
hands up.
put Bowers next to him. Then I'm gonna walk over to Orion and be like, "All right, bud, what are you doing? Because I'm bored."
Well, since I've missed almost all my shots from my crossbow, I think it might be important for me to go practice my archery.
Let's go. I'll see if I can teach you a few things.
Are you good with a bow?
For the most part, it's not my specialty, but I know a good
I'm
bit
gonna
about.
throw this out here. This will be the day we'll use to level up. Actually, considering it has fallen perfectly in this way, we'll use this day to level up. So,
Sick.
you guys, do end up finding a archery range this morning. Actually, I'm gonna have you roll investigation or perception to find a place that would a kind of a training area type deal.
Is there no actual archery range in this castle?
If you wanted to ask the guards,
Oh,
you
you're
could
kidding me. I got
possibly
a
get
nat
something
fail.
set up.
Nat fail. It's a nat one.
I'm gonna nudge
That one.
Orion and be like, maybe we should ask the guards to see if there's a quartermaster or an archery master here.
That might be a good idea.
Okay.
I think we gonna do that.
Yeah. So you approach one of the guards. It is the one you are approaching. It is a elven man wearing studded leather armor, kind of standing guard off to the side of the courtyard that you originally came into. He looks to you and he kind of looks you both up and down and he just says, can I help you?"
Yeah, we're looking for a archery range or the quartermaster or the archery master of the castle.
We do have a training ground, but I would have to check with my superiors to see if you would be allowed.
That's okay. We'll talk to your superiors. Who are they? Direct us to them.
Not have Bryce talk to superiors.
He says, give me a minute," and he walks off somewhere, says something to another guard, and heads through a doorway leading into one of the walls. A minute or two passes. Actually, a few minutes pass. About 10 minutes pass before he returns with a very large a golden dragonborn that comes with him. The man probably stands about around 8 feet tall, fairly large, and carrying a very large sword on his back. And he comes up and he says, "So you all are looking for archery?
Yes, sir.
He turns to the guard. He says, "Go fetch one of the targets. Let's keep them here." And guard nods and quickly runs off. He turns and he says, "We'll just bring you one of the targets."
That
Considering you
works.
are,
Do you happen to have any
yes.
pointers on how I can get better at archery? Because I've been missing all my shots lately.
He says, "Let me get the one of the archery trainers," and he walks off. And as the new target is being brought out, there is a half elf that comes out, wearing studded leather armor, just like the first man that you talked to, and he is carrying a longbow with him as he comes out. It's on his back, and he approaches you guys and he says, "Are you the ones that were requesting some sort of training?"
Yes, sir. I would like to learn from the best, and what better than the master archer at the castle?
I won't say I'm the best, but I am flattered. He says, "But I'd be happy to help a guest of the prince."
Much appreciated. I just want to do my part in protecting this kingdom.
So he is going to, over the next few hours, give you various pointers on. So you're not going to waste any stuff on this, but you do level up, and you are learning. What are you leveling up in? Are you trying to do fighter? Was it?
Yeah, it was fighter, and then I want to do arcane archer as a subclass for fighter.
Okay, so he gives you several pointers and kind of shows you the way to go about aiming the bow and breathing techniques for trying to aim the bow long distance, how to reload it quickly, things of that nature, and that takes the bulk of a few hours. And during that time, Specs, are you just watching or are you just hanging out?
Oh, for the most part, I'm kind of like half-heartedly, uh, like joining in while trying to think stuff over.
Okay. Yeah, so with that you gain your 1 level in fighter. And I would say with this you probably would gain the fighting style archery due to learning archery. Because that would be at level 1 you do get a fighting style. I would say you would probably be learning the archery fighting style because that gives you a bonus to your ranged attack rolls.
Oh, perfect.
And once after the few hours, he seems very pleased with the progress that he has made with you, and he says, "This has been excellent, and you have been a wonderful pupil." He says, "In the future, if you ever need any more pointers, you can just come by the castle, let the prince know. He can retrieve them."
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And he gives you a nod and gestures for one of the guards to collect up the target. And he heads back into the wall that he had come from before.
I'm gonna turn to Specs and be like, "Yo, do they just like go through the fucking wall?"
Like
Yeah.
it's like the door. There's a door in the wall.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
It's not like they're just they're not just pulling some like platform 9 3/4 shit. This isn't Harry Potter.
That's exactly what I was thinking, and I was like, "Am I just like half asleep? Like, what the fuck's going
You're
on?"
just watching it and being like, yeah, okay.
What was in my
That checks out.
breakfast?
I'm gonna turn to Kosho and be like, "Oh, do you want a book, by the way?"
What kind of book?
Which one did you throw? The ones that you couldn't read out, or do you still have them?
No, I still have the other two.
For-
You act
for
like I
speed.
can't read. Like I haven't been through like serious fucking training and like leadership training as like, all right, whatever. Anyways,
That does not mean you can read.
Actually,
I'll let you know that.
Kosho, I was about to get to you actually. Considering you have the thing for the monastery now, are you
sorry,
going
not
to?
Orin. Sorry, I meant
No,
for Orin,
or
not
Orion.
Kosho.
Okay, yeah.
Orion, sorry.
Shit, I'll take the
Kosho,
book.
though, would you be heading to the monastery now that you have that recipe?
Well, first, I would like to ask if the prince needs my services before I go off. Because if he needs me at a certain point and I'm not there, then I don't want to look. That looks bad on the
what you've been
monastery's
told,
reputation.
what you've been told is, you can't do anything for the prince until the eclipse is over. Currently, you are in the second day of it, and it will end at about midnight. Is when it'll be done.
All right, then if my duties aren't required elsewhere, then I'll go to the monastery.
Okay, so you head to the monastery. It's when you get there, it's rather quiet. Usually there's people. There's a number of people usually walking around. Today though, it seems as you've kind of guessed with the eclipse and everything, no one's really moving around. The only person you find in there is Master Renzi, who is meditating in his usual position at the head of the cathedral-like room of the monastery.
Okay.
That's that similar glow coming off of him that you had seen days before. Before it dims out and he opens his eyes and looks at you.
Gotcha. Okay. Now that his eyes are open and he sees me, I'll approach him, and I bow, of course, and I say, "I sorry to disturb you. However, I bring good news," and I show him the recipe, or I hand him the recipe.
Says, I was wondering when this would come. He says, he slowly gets to his feet and he says, "You've done well, Kosho. Truly proven
Thank you.
yourself in your time here."
Thank you. My lifetime has been ridden with sadness and violence, and I'm trying to remedy that. How do you deal with the guilt of previous lifetimes? I feel like I'm in an endless cycle of torment.
Good God.
Holy shit.
The only way I'm able to go on day by day is by knowing that I can be of use to others.
You know what's been said in D&D? How do I move? How do I go on?
The heart attacks put me to sleep and wake me up. My bones are made of glass. My skin is sandpaper. Jesus, Prince.
You asked me to go in character. I'm trying to go in character.
He says, he says,
so funny.
He just says, meditation and becoming at peace with your past and continuing on using it as a lesson. I'm no monk, so like this dialogue is gonna be shit. So I'm sorry if it in advance.
So Kosho, he understands this in the form of basically knowing your battles, and I guess he's been trained in a way where there has always been no mercy. He's never been allowed for a break. He's been at a constant strife dealing with his monastery senseis of old traditions and values, and he hears this, and he takes that into his conscious, knowing that he needs to give himself more credit. And he also uses this to just try and be more sensible around the world around him. So, Pog.
Yotan's just gonna hold his hands up to where his eyes would be and just do that.
Yotan's not with him.
Yeah,
the party's all kind of separated right now.
Oh, that's fine.
They're kind of all over the place.
He's doing it wherever he is, whether he knows.
Sensei of the last monastery I was bound by, the Eternal Soul. They made me commit very nefarious and almost devilish deeds.
Nefarious? I'm sorry. Why the fuck would he use that word?
It sounds like you're dealing with some Catholic priest thing more than monk thing.
So nefarious. $1 trillion extra powers.
Vile.
See, that's a little bit better.
That doesn't help.
Renzi walks towards you and places a hand on your shoulder, and he says, "We've discussed your past many times. You just need to move on. Leave it as a lesson. That was a past life. You are in a new."
Yes, I'd say I will go with the flow, as you say.
It is what it is.
No. I would like to see what you have done, or what you know in your training right now. And he kind of
In
guides
the
you over to the. And most people don't notice this, that the floor in the center of this monastery is actually a fighting mat, but it looks in such a way. So this fighting mat actually looks like your standard floor, just nobody really walks around this area, considering of where it is. And he takes you to it, and he kind of has you stop in one spot, and he stands before you. And he looks at you and says, so what have you learned so far while you've been here?
the brothers of the eternal, the disciples of the eternal soul, practice very unnatural, I guess, traditions. Because of their thirst for immortality and youth.
No, he puts a hand up. He says, "Here, not your past life. Here. What have you
Well,
learned? Your training here."
to become one with the world around me, to surround myself with virtuous deeds, and to just do good, be
Hand,
around
shit
others.
hand.
Piss hand, shit hand, yeah.
And he kind of walks up to you, and with a flash, almost like the moving of real quick, I need you to roll a Constitution saving throw for me.
Ooh, okay.
As with a flash, Master Renzi proceeds to jab you in the side of the throat.
Constitution, you said just raw constitution or
Saving
medicine?
throw.
Or
Just a it's a raw Constitution saving throw. All right, just saving throw.
That is a 15.
A 15. He strikes you in the neck, and your vision goes white for a moment.
Oh.
And you are stunned. You cannot. Your body seizes up, and you are unable to move for a brief moment. And when your vision slowly comes back and clears up, he's standing before you and is smiling. And he says, "Do you know
How
what?
about them apples?
Do you know what just happened to you?"
You manipulated my key in some form, but I'm not sure how.
It was a stun. And yes, it was manipulation of key. And he kind of begins to walk you through kind of the movements. So you end up spending a few hours with him after this point, and he begins to teach you how to use Stunning Strike, which is in your next monk level. And you guys,
baby,
for several hours, roughly around the same, it'd probably be about 6 hours worth of training. He teaches you how to land punches in positions that would stun your enemies. You may not necessarily be prepared for such attacks.
Splendid.
And
Is there a tiger balm in this universe?
Shut the fuck
Guy.
and as he finishes this lesson with you, he after watching your form, he says, "I believe you will use this ability well. And I look forward to seeing what your future holds."
Thank you, Redsay. I will continue to aid the city the best I can.
He gives you a slight nod and he says, I believe your destiny goes beyond this city. But the tides of fate will decide that. And he begins to walk back towards the position that he is always meditating in.
Splendid. I exit
Slowly,
the monastery,
yeah. And as you're leaving, he takes his seat and goes back into his meditative state, beginning to make a slight glow around himself.
Splendid. Let's see. Should I regroup with y'all, or how much time do we have until when we're supposed to regroup?
It's you guys don't have to regroup until the next day. This is kind of your day to level up.
Oh, I see. Gotcha.
So I'm like getting each person who would has something that would make sense narratively to work on to level up. So you guys can
Okay.
update your character sheets to level 5. Yes.
Yes.
Level 5.
Yes.
Because you're all learning your own abilities and stuff.
Mine's not level 5. I'm still level 4, but I have level 1 in fighter. Right?
Your character level.
Your
is
character
5.
level is 5. That's what I mean.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Yes.
All right.
Now,
Is there an
specs-
orphanage anywhere?
There's an orphanage. Yes.
Very, very random question, but am I able to volunteer at the orphanage?
Yes.
I was
you
gonna
can-
say, knowing your background, that is very scary of a question.
you are allowed to volunteer in an orphanage, and we will say that's what you do for the remainder of the day.
Yeah,
Okay.
he may
We don't-
inflict what's been inflicted upon him, if you know what I'm saying.
Dear God. All right, Specs. What were you going to say?
I guess then I'll go and like convene with my god, or try to.
All right, and I need to review what you would be getting next. I think you're just getting standard paladin stuff, right?
Extra attack.
Extra attack. That's it.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, just the extra attack. Okay, yeah. You spend the after watching the training of Orion for a bit and partially taking part in it. You venture back to the bedchambers where it's empty at the moment. You don't know where Jabbers has gone. Kellic is off on his own somewhere. And you...
And Jabbers has
Hmm?
I said, and Jabbers has Bowers.
Yes, Jabbers is with Bowers somewhere.
Still.
You would assume he's still in the tower because you didn't see him exit, but he is
Hello?
somewhere.
Hello.
Hello. Well, I guess he's praying. Okay. Oh, he's back.
Sorry. Yeah, Jabbers has Bowers still.
Yes, he's still in the castle. You know that much. You just don't know where specifically. And you set down. How would you commune with your god?
I guess in kind of like a meditative way.
So do you set anything out like candles, incense, or is it more of just like sit quietly in a room and just listen?
Or do you
Yeah,
do it the
kind
Ben
of.
Affleck way, where you just grab a metal baseball like bat and just start banging your shin for no reason for like 15 minutes?
Nobody does it the Ben Affleck way.
Nobody saw The Assistant or The Accountant. Okay, never mind.
No, I haven't, sadly.
Pretty good Ben Affleck movie if you're interested in Ben Affleck.
Just in him.
What I do is I take out my dice set and I just start rolling them
Okay.
while like sitting in like a crisscross seated
Applesauce.
position.
I was just gonna say that. Fuck you.
I was like, should I say it?
Yes.
You sit in this spot where it's a few hours of sitting here, and it's you sitting in silence just rolling the dice, and it's almost what's the word I'm looking for? The sound of the dice rolling is almost like that of a metronome, and it is just consistent. And you kind of lock yourself into a sort of trance state as you are focusing on your patron, attempting to commune with her as the silence of the room is continuously broken by the sound of dice hitting stone floor. And as time passes, you get the sensation of it is like a cold breeze swirls around you for a moment. And it chills you, but it doesn't. It's nothing you've never. It's nothing you've found to be uncomfortable. And the dice in your hand seem to roll themselves by this point, as you're no longer touching them, and they continue to roll. And you hear her voice say, "You have done well, Svex."
Sex.
I don't know if he hears me or not.
Oh, I did. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he says, "You have done well, Svex."
I just say thank you, and I have a plan.
Would you mind sharing?
So, this this curse, this thing that I'm stuck with, can it hear our conversation?
In a sense. But
Is-
it doesn't hear me.
But you know what I'm thinking.
Yes, but I don't think it would hurt to say it aloud.
Oh, I might as well. Can we bring him into the conversation?
You can. So as you were doing this, right as you say this, you hear somewhere in your mind a slight cackle, and you hear him say, "Did you call?"
I have an agreement, a pact, maybe you might call it, that I'd like to make with you.
Oh, have you decided to come around?
In a way, but it's in my way.
Well, I don't think my terms have been very unfavorable for you.
Why don't you reinstate your terms and I'll give you mine. And we'll see which way we decide to go.
All that I wish from you is the ability to feed for blood, for violence, whenever it may come. That's all that I want.
Then I think you'll like my rules too.
I'm
What I have
intrigued.
in mind is a partnership, so to say.
Yes.
Instead of you coming out and hunting whenever you want to, you'll come out when I need you to.
Well,
And we'll work together. You'll get the feed, you'll get the kill. But it will be when I need you to. Not at random, not at your whim or will, but by
well,
mine.
normally I would only come out when you are in a certain amount of danger, as you've seen before. Last night was a special exception, but that was because of the eclipse. It won't happen again, not for at least a year. But if you do allow me to feed and kill, things might just turn in your favor more than they have been.
You gonna take the deal, Bryce?
I just want you to know, if you break the rules of this agreement and you try and take over, I will find a way to get rid of you for good.
Yes, you've said this before. I will not break free at random. I'm sure I did hear you listen to the tales of that dragonborn man. He's right. I've had people fight me, and people lose. But I've also had those who worked with me. Well, they got exactly what they wanted every single time. So,
I guess this will be the start of a good friendship
I sure hope so.
in a pact overseen by a god.
Yes, your deity. The mystical dice roller herself.
Deity.
Shut up.
I would reach to this microphone and strangle you if I had the power.
So, do we shake on it?
Let's call it a blood pact.
All right.
He cackles to himself a little bit. He says, "Until I am summoned, or until you are in danger, we will talk again." And you sense his presence within your mind fade just a little bit. Just enough that you know that he is gone dormant.
I say, what do you think of this, Sarvoth?
There's a pause. Dice rolls a few times, and she says, "I think this is the beginning of something great. Something that will work out for your favor. The favor that you've had since the day I found you." And you feel a pair of hands on each of your shoulder for a moment, and someone's head come to your side. She says, "As long as you keep this path and continue to impress, this favor will stay."
I'm gonna grab the dice that she's normally rolling and I'll say, let's see how it goes. And I'll roll it and then I guess break the trance.
You roll the dice, and it's like being snapped back to reality. Your hands back to their previous position of rolling the dice back and forth, and you catch one of the dice in one of your hands. And
What number does it read?
when you're holding it, the number that is pointing up at you as you flip your palm is a 20.
Oh, let's go.
And as you are smiling at this dice, the cold breeze whips around you one last time before seeming to fade. And you are now level 5.
Oh.
Yo-Tan, considering you're here now, do you have anything you wish to do to level up? You've missed quite a bit. A lot has happened so far in this session. This has just been a leveling up session, but there's a lot has happened.
Can I make Kosho Z roll initiative?
What?
No, I'm kidding. The way your reaction was so perfect to that. No, I'm kidding. But
Where is Yotan in all of this?
He's probably been hanging in the lounge because he doesn't do much when he's not You're just kind of a coat rack in the corner.
Did he watch it? Did he watch Evan just disappear into a dimensional door?
No, he wasn't. That was in the library.
Oh,
I guess
Whoopsies.
what exactly do you mean? What when
Do
you
you
ask
have
what I
anything
would
you
like?
want to like? We're setting up that narratively when you guys level up,
Mhm.
you narratively do something to improve yourself.
Oh,
So
okay.
Kosho got his training with the master of the monastery and learned his stunning strike. Orion got archery training and got 1 level in fighter. Sphex spoke with his deity. She gave him more power. And Calder spoke. I guess technically we haven't gotten to Calder yet. So Calder, as Kosho
Yeah.
leaves you, you are in the room with Zeldrif, who has been reading his tome.
Uh-huh.
And he. Oh.
I'm just gonna ask him about what sort of spells he likes to work on, or likes to use.
And as you say this, you watch the book in front of him snap shut, and he he grabs it with one hand and flicks his wrist, and the book vanishes. And he says, "Well,
I hate
this
that I
is
know what every single spell you described, exactly what it does, the action economy of it, and everything about. I hate that I know that. It just pains.
I have a lot of spells at my disposal. I do as I please."
Yes, but like, it's just so annoying that I know exactly which one it is, and I'm just like, oh, okay, cool. So he knows this, but Cowder wouldn't be like, oh yeah, he knows XYZ spell. It would be like, oh wow, he did an illusion magic.
What school of magic are you, by the way?
Evocationist. So the
Evocation.
damage one.
Gotcha. Trying to remember what you get at level 5. I don't think you get anything at level
Nothing.
5.
It's
You get
it's
nothing.
I
Okay.
unlock 3rd level spells. That's it.
Okay. So he gets up to his feet and he says, "Well, he says I dabble in various schools of magic. My favorite, a little bit rare magic. Have you heard of Dunamancy?"
Yes. Power of the elements and the world.
Uh, Not. It's more messing with
I know it's
time,
gravity.
space, gravity, things of that nature. Things that allow you to bridge the gap between possibilities and prepare you for future events. As well as the little thing that you saw me do yesterday, sealing that door, casting the spell, immovable object. And I'm assuming you wish to learn a spell or two.
I wish to know what you could teach me at this point. I feel like I am just now reaching a breaking point onto some more powerful things, but that is just because I have just been pushed and pushed until my body couldn't no longer.
Well, is there any specific spells you wish to learn that I might be able to teach you?
I have a few in mind if you want me to just go over what I wish.
Sure.
I feel like Melth's minute meteors would boost my assistance in the fight. And along with shield and is this a 3rd level spell? Yeah. And of course the classic fireball.
Yes, those are easy ones. Come. And he gestures for you to follow him out into the courtyard. which when you get out there, you do see the others doing archery, and he takes you over to a shaded corner on the opposite end of the courtyard and sits you down.
Mhm.
And he begins to pull various tomes from a bag of holding that is on his hip. There's a lot of books that he is pulling out.
Right. So
He-
one thing before we do this, I can have 3 third level spells prepared. Note that that doesn't mean any limit on what I have in my spell book that
No,
I
yeah,
can
you
switch to
can learn
during
as
the
many spells as you want.
Okay.
And what he is
I'm
going
just
to
gonna
do,
I'm just gonna say all of them.
yeah. So what he ends up doing is he pulls out these books, opens various tomes to certain pages, and then pulls out a a stack of papers, and as well as a ink pen and a inkwell, and he places them before you. And he flips certain books to you, and he says, "Here, read through them. If you have any questions, let me know, and then we can practice."
Calder will go like, all right, sounds good, and do like the cool like cracks his knuckles by like holding both hands out, casts 2 mage hands to hold up both books, and scribbles on the scrolls
Yeah.
and like
So
the sheets of parchment at the same time, and just like goes to town. Because he knows all the tips and tricks from college, where it's just like hold book with mage hand, so you don't have to look over, and you can have it flip pages and stuff like that.
So you learn with this. You learn the spells that you wanted to. So those 3 spells.
Okay, hold on. I have to level up first.
Yes.
Hold on.
You learn those 3 spells that you asked. So you learn Melf's Minute Meteor. You learn Fireball, and you learn what was the one that you asked for?
Minute Meteor, Shield, and
Shield, and you learn Shield. He also supplies you with. He does also give you the spell Sending.
Hold on. Alright, Sending. I don't have Shield for some reason. That might be. Is that a 2nd level spell?
I think Shield
No.
is. Shield is a.
I don't see it. I thought it was a 3rd level spell. Let me look at
I
it.
think it's a 1st level.
Is it? Oh shit! It is.
Yeah, Shield is a low level
Okay.
spell. I'm surprised you didn't
Oh,
know
I
that one already.
I have it added. I'm retarded.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so he you learn minute meteor, Sending, Fireball, Sending. It's called Sending.
Sending. All right, got that one.
And
Fireball.
going through notes, I want to check something. Do
I have the image of the spells that you sent me. Do you want me
Yes,
to add all of those?
No, he is not
Okay.
teaching you all of them. He is only teaching you a few.
Right.
He also teaches you
Gaseous
he-
form.
he does offer to teach you Wrist Pocket as well.
Is that a 2nd level spell?
That is a 2nd level spell.
Sure.
And within the few hours that you guys do study in this courtyard, actually it's not shaded. It's lit by a lantern. I forgot. It is the eclipse. There's no sun. He teaches you all of those spells though, and around this point, it's by the time you finish, all the others have already regathered inside the tower.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm
And-
gonna study until I can't.
Yeah, you guys go till about 10 o'clock at night. Learning these spells, practicing. He has you begin the incantations for like Fireball and stuff, but doesn't have you actually cast it.
As in
I could cast it
learning
on.
Haskell.
Yeah, never mind. I know what it is. He has you cast the spell, but the moment you cast it, he casts counter spell against it to prevent you from hitting anything.
He would. Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's countering your spell so you don't accidentally burn the courtyard or something.
I thought he was just gonna dispel magic immediately.
No, he was just doing counterspell. So he watches you do the incantation and get like you complete it, and he counters it so it doesn't happen, just to
Can
prevent
I
you from.
learn that off of me watching him do it?
Roll a, I'm going to say, intelligence check.
Arcana based?
You... Sure.
20, dirty.
Dirty 20. You have the idea, and you've seen basic things for it. With a few hours of extra studying, you would be able to master it.
Listen, I can't just hit, yeah, I have to hit learn or not learn.
Just, yeah, you can learn it. You would, by the end of the night, would have
I'll
figured
just,
it out.
yeah, spend more time with it. And then also, since he is a Dunamancer,
Dunamancer.
where is the Dunamancer spell? What is it, like increase gravity?
You were
Is it
thinking
second level?
of magnify gravity as first level.
Okay. I want to learn that one as well.
As you say this, near the end of, as he's like gathering up his things, he says, "Well, you are a rather eager one to learn, aren't you?"
Yes, sir, I'd learn anything that I can.
Well,
Even the spell copy _of _haste. I see that.
oh, so the reason some of the spells are like that on my thing is because I've
You
made
had to-
copies to
yeah.
check how they work, and then use that information on how they work in D&D and Beyond in order to make spells similar.
I gotcha. I'm just
yeah.
fucking with you, though.
He says, well, I think we've expended what little bit of, and with quotation marks says, daylight we have. He says, but, and he reaches into his bag and begins to fiddle around for a minute before pulling out a scroll. He hands it to you. He says, this should have the spell within it. And he hands it to you. And when you open it, you do find that it is the incantation for magnify gravity. You will have to copy it into your spell book in order to use it as you're in your spell book, or you can use it as the scroll and have the scroll consumed during the spell. But
Fuck no.
you know the rules on having to copy things in your spell book. It's like a
Yeah, it's
certain
some
number
sort of
hours.
money thing. I gotta pull it back up.
Technically, that's what you did with him, but he supplied the paper this time.
Oh, thank God.
In the future, I'm going to have you pay for them because you guys don't have money. So like, there's going to be reasons for things.
We have like zero fucking. It costs. It takes 2 hours per level and 50 gold per level.
Yes, paper's
Dude,
expensive.
I have 13 gold.
What? I thought you guys got 100. Oh wait,
No.
you guys spent all your money.
Even then, I would need 50 more gold since it's third level. No, wait, no, it's first
No,
level.
it's first level. You only need 15.
God.
You guys, he leads you back into the chamber. The rest of you are all sitting in there. What would you all be doing within this chamber?
Oh shit! Let me prepare my spells.
So am I ready to do?
Yeah, you can do yours. Yeah, what were you doing for that time?
So I'm gonna say that I'm just gonna try and narrate it the best I can. Then you can probably take over if you think you can do it better. So essentially, Yotan is just standing there, as he is usually, and he's just looking out over into the nothingness, and he sees like kind of a hunched over figure just kind of moving. Is there a lot of people in this court in this area?
So you were in the lounge chamber, as you would call it, or the living room type chamber, with all of the chairs and tables and such that fireplace. You were alone though for most of the day. There were parts of the day. Zeldriff was in there for a while. He wasn't saying anything. He was reading a tome and drinking tea. And then when Calder came back, he left, and you were alone in this room.
I'm currently alone in this room.
Yeah, so by this point you would be alone.
Okay. So I just see something moving in between the shadows of the room, like wherever the light from the fire is flickering wherever it doesn't touch. I just kind of see something darker and hunched over, moving in between them. So Yotan slowly stands up and just kind of casually walks over into the darkness and just swings his arm into the darkness and feels nothing. It's just air.
Mm-hmm.
So he turns back around to sit down, and all of a sudden, directly in front of him, there's this wretched, disgusting looking woman. She is just hunched over and she is wrinkled and just heinous to look at. And you only assume she is a woman because she has long, thin, white, pure white hair that
As the
reaches.
person you're describing, the witch that created him.
The daughter and Yotan is immediately brought to one knee in front of her, not bowing, but he immediately just drops to one knee. He just feels weakness for some reason in that leg, and as he drops, he looks at her in her eye, and she, because when he drops to one knee, he is almost at her height exactly, just looking over her directly into her eyes, and she reaches up and he, of course, assuming they had all died in the slaughter, he's just so surprised to see him, and he's so surprised to see her, and she reaches out and like caresses his face almost, because almost like a mother to a child, and
Yes.
he's just so like enthralled, and she's like touching his shoulders, and she's like feeling him. She feels how stiff and how rigid he is. It's not right. It's like she just, her magic kind of washes into his skin. He stands up, and barbarians at the 5th level get an extra attack, and that's kind of what that's supposed to be. And
Okay, so the way you're wanting to do your level ups is not in the case of a patron, but more of a witch of some sort or a hag of some sort appears before you and grants you with your power.
Exactly, and then she kind of reveals a little bit more information about what exactly is going on. She reveals to him that we've survived. A couple of us have survived the slaughter. We don't know why, and we currently are suffering for our sins.
The way that I'm thinking of this would work is as she stands before him, as he gets to his full height.
She's a decrepit voice.
She would. No, it was. I have a different way of doing it. It's an interesting way. I think you'll like this. She gestures for him to put his hand out, and as he puts his hand out, she places her hand on her tiny little hand on his massive hand. No, shut up. And she places her hand on his, and as she does, he gets visions. Instead of speaking, she shows him things through visions. And she shows him the others that have survived, and shows them in sort of suffering as they are trying to redeem themselves for what they've done. That's what you're going with, right?
Well, that's what they assumed. It's like when people have been punished, when they believe they've been punished by their god and they don't know why, so they just assume they're in the wrong.
Yeah, they're kind of hiding in caves, and
they're the daughters. They're called the daughters of Anima, and they tried to create an apostle, like
that's right. Yeah, that's right.
It was
I remember now.
Eyes, yeah.
So you see them. You see visions of them hiding in caves, pleading out to Anima, wishing that for her to answer them, and they feel abandoned and betrayed and don't know what to do without their avatar or anything else, or their god, and they are lost and afraid type is what you would get out of it.
Exactly.
So, and with that vision, as she pulls her hand away,
I feel like next time he sees them, by the way, they would be a little better off because they realize he is also alive. And
We can talk about more with that as we move on, but
Yeah.
yes, that is I like this idea. I like this as the way you level up. And as she pulls her hand away, a different vision comes before you. Your vision
this-
blackens for a moment, and when it comes back, you are standing in the snow, bleeding heavily from a large gash wound in your chest and panting. And as you turn your head, you can see a face, a familiar face, within the ice wall that is beside you. There is no mask, there's nothing, and you are wearing a Sarzian pelt. And as you look into this reflection, the gray eyes looking back at you as blood runs from your nose and the side of the mouth around your pale bluish skin, you come to realize that the person you are looking at is the body that you are using. And you are somehow getting a memory of this individual before his death. And he turns and looks at the creature before him, something between a man and a beast, standing slightly over him with bloodied claws and very mild injuries. And you recognize this figure that's looming over this individual that you are now in possession of their body. And this beast is Magnus. And you see as Magnus charges you as you prepare your spear for the attack. And due to your injuries, you are too slow and you are struck down. Your blood soaking into the snow around you, turning it a crimson red. As you can feel your soul leaving the body. And he just stands over you for a moment, and he just looks down, and he says in a voice somewhat in disappointment,
Wait, he's
but
here.
also in honor. He's not with
You
you
wanna
guys.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying Dread is here. We can bring him in just for this part if you want, I think.
Oh, no, it's fine. I got this. He just says,
okay.
"You were a great warrior. Shame you had to die in this manner. You would have made a great raider." And he simply walks off into the blizzard that surrounds you, your vision slowly slipping into darkness. And when it comes back, the hag woman is gone, and you are alone.
I'd like to enter Rage.
You enter a rage.
Not the ability, but like it's just rage ensues, and like I think the next person I see, I'm probably gonna automatically attack.
Well,
Me.
in that case, no, the next person that comes in the room is Agrok, who is coming up from the library at the time.
Rip.
So are you going to attack Agrog?
I do not remember the character.
It is a 7-8
He's one of the king's
Dragonborn.
like guys that
He's
super cool.
he's a sorcerer. He's the dragon individual with the dragon wings, long tail. Assumed to be very powerful sorcerer, based on what you all seen of him.
Well, if that's true, he'd be very wise. So yeah, let's roll initiative.
Roll initiative.
God damn.
Okay.
Oh, what?
What did you roll?
Hold on, I'm pulling it up right now. It's under skill.
Up,
Right? No.
up.
It's right here. My bad.
Where's my HDMI? I'm trying to put that dice roll on the big screen.
The dice roll on the big screen. You rolled a 15.
Yeah, I gotta find my
Put on the
HDMI.
jumbotron in like a stadium.
Nah, I'm trying to plug in my second monitor.
He comes into the the room, and he gives you a look as he kind of tilts his head to one side. And
He should be able to feel it, if I'm honest. If he can, when he just walks in the room.
well, that's why he looks at you curiously. He's just like, What has gotten you in a fuss? And he seems to kind of stand his ground with his staff in hand, looking at you very closely as you are standing there. And it's your turn.
And I'm surrounded by tables, correct?
Yes.
All right. So I'm gonna. Would this be an act? Yeah, it would be an action. So I'm gonna first kick a table at him.
Roll an
Just
attack.
full on.
Yeah, roll an attack.
What would that? Just attack? Oh,
I'm just roll a straight roll a strength check with your so whatever your strength is plus your dice roll.
What are my strengths? Okay. Where is it? So +5. So just roll that. Yeah. There we go.
What is it? Because I'm not looking. 24.
Yeah.
Okay. You kick this table at him, and you watch as he throws a hand forward, and it bounces off a arcane shield before him.
What happened to the table? Because I kicked that bitch like
The table explodes against this shimmering arcane shield that is before him. And he kind of growls at you, his wings extending out to their full length. They engulf most of the torchlight along the edge of this chamber as the room begins to grow cold.
I'm gonna roll an intimidation check. Oh wait, no, it's his turn, right?
You only have one attack, right?
No, I have 2 actually now.
Yeah, you can make a second attack.
I have a bonus
Per
attack.
action. Yeah. No. Per action.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
He made the attack action so he can make another one. Because
Yeah.
he used
So
the
he
table,
basically every action you attack twice, leaving you with your bonus action still.
It's a good question.
What's a good question? How are you going to attack him?
Yotan's just gonna like scream into the not scream because he doesn't make a sound. So I guess
you are within about 20 feet of him.
So yeah, I was just gonna charge him straight up, just like shoulder down.
Okay, roll a attack against him. I'm trying to remember something, and I'm struggling to remember what I'm trying to remember. Oh.
Wait, this would be a strength. I'm rage. This is a strength thing, right? Oh wait, no, this is just attack, right?
Yeah, you would just roll an attack. Your attacks are based on strength.
Oh, wait. Then can I get I also get a advantage on strength, so I get another roll,
well,
right?
if does your rage allow you to get advantage on attacks?
Yeah.
No, you have to do no. That's not how that works.
Oh wait, no, it's advantage on
It's strength checks or saving throws. Yeah, no, you would just roll a straight attack unless you go reckless. But I don't know if you have reckless.
I do.
You can go reckless. If you go reckless, you gain advantage, but he gains advantage against you.
Double-edged sword, basically.
Yeah. It's the perk of a barbarian, but it's also the downfall of a barbarian.
Yeah, I'm doing it. I'm just going reckless because I'm just raging right now, so I feel like that's perfect. So yeah, I'm gonna roll again. I didn't roll with strength the first time. I only rolled a d20 the first time.
Which that was still, he blocked it. It was fine.
Yeah.
Okay, you rush towards him, slamming your shoulder into the shield. He pushes you back a tiny bit and waves his staff in front of him, and he says, why don't we cool down just a bit? And he slams his staff into the ground. I need you to roll a wisdom save for me.
Is that just okay? Saving throws, con. There it is. 14.
You are transformed into a small puppy, which he then
type?
Girl
What
comment
type of
sections
puppy?
on Instagram.
a golden retriever. I don't know. Yes, he turns you into a small golden
Yeah.
retriever puppy, and he slowly comes up to you and he picks you up by the scruff. And
How about a wiener dog?
No, I've already made my decision.
Mm.
It's too late. And he proceeds to carry you down into the library.
A silent dog, by the way. It does not bark.
Yes, you look like you're growling, but you're not. And he sets you onto a table. And
No, I'm using my puppy teeth, just ripping into his.
So
thumb
he's
right
holding
now.
you by the scruff, so you can't quite reach
Oh.
him. And he's just kind of holding you there, and he says, "Why don't we calm down a little bit? Clearly, whatever rage you have is irrational."
Once again, get shit on.
I literally knew that was gonna happen. What are you talking about? At least I'm not talking. At least I'm not talking to myself in a room.
Fucking got your ass.
So he then gets a crate from like one of the crates you would kind of like a milk crate, like you would hold books in, and he proceeds to set you on the ground and stick the crate over you, and then sit down on the crate.
Ha! Ha! Get shit on, nerd. At least I didn't get put in the fucking box, idiot.
Calm down, boys. And he's just gonna say, "I will
seem
let you out
off-
once you have calmed." And he pulls out a book and he begins to read. So how long does it take for Yotan to cool down?
Rage only lasts a few minutes.
Yeah, Rage only does last a few minutes.
A few minutes pass of you slamming against this crate with no effect, or it
Please
doesn't
tell
really. I can't think of the words I'm trying to think
How
of.
many spells
Yeah.
worked to it?
But after a minute or two, about 10 minutes passes before you finally calm, and he waits another 5 before closing his book, lifting the crate and releasing the spell. And as he does, he takes a step back and he says, "Are we better now?"
Is it a slow grow? Are we doing like an 80s thing? Or are we doing like
No,
a...
it's like there's a poof, you were a puppy, now you are a 10-foot tall Goliath. Like there is no transition. Just do go. Just like that. That's it. He says, "Are we better now?"
And I'm just gonna do the crying thing again. Just put my hands up to my eyes and just do that crying motion.
He says, "Well, at least you're not raging anymore." And he turns and he gestures for you to follow as he walks out of the library.
I mean, yeah.
Okay, so you follow him out of the library, and he pretty much sets you down in the lounge area, and he sits down in one of the corners and begins to read from a book, sitting with his staff across his lap as he's just quietly reading.
Yotan's gonna reach into his jacket and just throw those illegal seeds out that he has right out in front.
Just right out in front of him.
For now, yeah, seriously, just throw them out.
Just
Like,
throws them on the ground, or wait, are they in a
No.
bag?
At a table, right? He's sitting at a table.
No, he's sitting in a chair in the corner of the room.
All right, then I'll just throw it in his lap.
He just kind of looks at him and says, "What's this?"
I'll point at him and like trying to get obviously assuming information out of him for him.
He just looks into the bag and he's just like, "These are seeds. I don't do anything with any kind of herbology or botany or whatever." And he closes
Alright.
the bag and tosses it back.
All right, I'm gonna stand up and walk over to him, and then I'm gonna. Does he have a key or anything around like that on him?
Not that you can see. based on your knowledge, he has nothing but a bag of holding on his hip and a ice staff in his hand, or in his
Okay.
lap currently.
Perfect. I'm gonna point to the bag of holding, like implying a pocket dimension, obviously. And I'm like trying to like wave out that mansion thing that you were telling me about, essentially just trying to get my own portable space. So
he just looks at you and he says, I don't know what you're trying to get on about. Use your words.
Calder anywhere nearby?
Calder is nowhere to be found. Calder is
Sorry,
studying.
cuz you got to do this one on your own.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's gonna take his hands and like bend them at the joints like a house, like a roof, and the two walls, and then his thumbs are gonna be like, so that's a house, right? That's, you can do that.
Okay.
Just kind of
He's
stares at
saying
you.
this too. He's saying, so that's a house.
Yeah, I'm describing what I'm doing with my hands as I'm doing it in front of him.
He just kind of stares at you and he goes, okay.
And then I'm gonna point to his bag of holding, and then I'm gonna point at my hip, essentially implying I want a bag of holding house, which is, come on, that's got to be close enough.
Do a begging motion.
He stares at you for a minute and kind of ponders over this very oddly and strayed information, and he's like putting two and two together, and it shouldn't take this long based on the things that like you've done with Calder, but you also realize this isn't Calder, and he says, are you talking about Mordecanian's magnificent mansion? And he just kind of stares at you. He says, the spell?
Then I'm just gonna nod my head.
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah.
He says,
yeah, like that mark.
He says, well, you, no offense, but you would never be able to learn a spell like that. And I can't even learn a spell like that. It is the only individuals I've ever known that have been able to learn such a spell are wizards.
Yeah, I'm saying if I can get it written down, I can give it to a wizard who can apply it to an amulet or something, or a key in which I can open that door wherever I want, right?
If you found the right person, and I'm saying this DM to player, if you found the right person,
About to say, are you talking now or like what?
It's possible. Now for Agrog, who is still deeply confused by this conversation, considering he's the only one doing any kind of talking, he just looks at you and says, I cannot help you with whatever this nonsense is.
Okay, it's shot again. Holy
is there a scroll nearby?
Dude, right?
Obliterated.
There are no scrolls or paper or anything nearby. He just has his book in his hand and his staff in his lap.
All right. Well, I'm just gonna fucking
jerk him off.
I'm gonna fucking undo my belt, put my balls in his face, and fucking walk away. I'm dead ass serious.
He rolls his eyes and then dives back into his book.
All I can imagine is just like you like unzipping your pants, shaking your junk around at him, like directed at him, and then walking away.
Helicopter dick.
Yeah.
Oh god, that was so stupid.
All right, so by this point, everyone has reconvened inside this tower. You guys are all back together, together.
I wanna walk up to Calder and have a conversation real quick.
What is my name? Calder? Valrus?
Cauldron.
I thought it was Calder.
Cauldron.
It's Calder.
Calder.
Stooping him.
Calder.
I sniff the air around Yoton and say, "Why do you smell like dog?"
The dog doing.
Oh shit!
Wet dog.
You might have made a sweat while you were raging, so that could make sense.
None of us would know that he turned into a dog, right?
With polymorph, sometimes the scent lingers.
You don't need sight against a smetty enemy.
The smartest thing he's ever said. Wait, the only thing he's ever said. But so you two are having a conversation. Svex is approaching Calder, who has just entered the room. Calder's the last to enter the room with Zeldrith, who, as Calder is stopped, Zeldrith continues walking and is heading upstairs. RP, go.
Okay, go. I say to Calder, do you trust him?
Well, he just spent time out of his day to teach me knowledge that would cost me an arm and a leg, so I trust him as much as that gives him the right to be trusted.
Just outside, we're talking about the Archmage.
Yes,
Yeah,
I got that.
Okay, cool. What did y'all use my blood for? Just a curiosity thing.
Wait, were you saying you don't trust Garrison or Zeldrith?
The one that's the jackal.
That's Garrison.
Garrison.
Garrison is the
librarian.
Yeah, the librarian / researcher. Zeldrith is the archmage.
Fiend.
Oh, never mind then.
Well, y'all don't know that he's the fiend, but yeah.
Well,
No, no one does. Y'all might have heard, but
I
your
saw
characters
him.
don't know.
I
He
literally
did.
saw him
Kosho did
transform.
see
You
him, but he
saw-
didn't identify him.
Yeah.
Understandable.
You know he's not what he seems. You just don't know what he is.
Okay,
Well,
understandable.
all right, then I'm gonna say the researcher. Do you trust him? All right, we're talking about that.
Yes, we've corrected this course. We know what
Okay.
you're talking about now. Yes.
Cool. What can Evan or Calder?
No, I'll say the same thing. Yeah, he's given us knowledge that would be very costly for us to just find. So I feel as though I trust him with as much as that I
He's
can.
saving not only our prince but the city, so that's good enough for me.
I'd be careful around him.
Oh,
Why is that?
do you have some sort of grudge against him?
I don't have a grudge against him, but he just doesn't seem like a reputable source, if you know what I mean.
I understand that you may feel some way, but I feel like you have nothing to worry about.
Mages have an eccentric flair to them. I'd say
Come on, look
they'll
at Calvin.
find their purpose.
I don't know if I trust him either. Anyone who is going to go through the lengths of covering up their true identity probably has something to hide.
I don't know. Seeing after I
We don't know the
woke up-
context.
seeing after I woke up chained to a table in the library with him taking my blood, I don't know how much I can really trust someone after that.
As you say this, Agrog, who had gotten up from his seat, stops next to you and says, "It was my suggestion."
And there's number 2 of people I don't know if I can trust.
If you want to go ahead and attack this guy, I'll be more than glad to oblige.
No.
We don't need to do that.
Look,
But
I'm not
now
trying to
we
fight
have
one
a-
of Tyler's level 20 characters, alright?
Well, I'm glad we have a deeper understanding of the people we work for. The lackeys, more of.
That's right. You work for us.
No, I just hope we fare better than any goblins that used to live around here.
Goblin does not.
He raises an eyebrow at you and just says, "Yes, hopefully." And he continues to make his way up the stairs. And as he's making his way to the stairs, Garrison emerges from the library and begins to head up, holding the vial of the cure as he is heading up.
The vial.
Yes, the vial that you guys had originally gotten a hold of.
Gotcha.
So is he supposed to have that?
Yes.
Yeah.
And you guys come to realize around this point, it's probably pretty close to midnight. The eclipse should be ending probably within the hour. It's probably why they are gathering upstairs.
So what direction is this dragonborn facing in the main? Turned
They
away.
all the researcher Garrison and the Dragonborn they have their backs to you.
Okay.
Garrison has gone up the stairs first, and Agrog is behind him.
So he currently. Are they on some kind of ledge or high area?
They are climbing up a staircase that disappears behind a wall at a certain point.
All right. Well, I was hoping there was somewhere I could just push him off, but I guess not.
He's got wings, bro.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah, but I don't think he's heavy enough for me and him. So
No, he would have a way to get out of whatever situation he was in.
I would hope that a dragonborn would be able to, fly with more than just his own body weight.
his body weight
Well,
and then a 10
So the
foot
knowledge you
arm.
have of dragonborns, they don't normally have wings. This is a sorcerer thing. Because of the type
Okay.
because of the type of magic that he has the ability to have these wings.
Yeah. Alright. Okay.
Yes. So, are
Oh,
you
never
guys following them up? Are you guys staying in the lounge?
I'll follow suit.
I mean, are they saying that we should come with, or
I
is
want
it
to follow
like?
after them and ask if we should follow.
Well, if
Sorry, didn't mean to find that.
based on
So
the
you wanna
conversations
do
you've had throughout the
therapy
day,
task you can do.
this is the point when they're going to cure the prince.
All right. Yeah, we better spectate.
Yeah, I kind of want to be there for that.
Okay, so you guys all
Meh.
head upstairs and enter the room. You see Agrog and not Galleon, Garrison. I have too many G names on my list of characters. Garrison standing off to the side while Zeldrif approaches the one of the windows and looks inside, and you can hear inside deep breathing. And as he looks in, he nods to the other two and walks to the side where that metal plate is that's in front of the door. And you watch as Calder, you were familiar with this as you had watched it while you were outside, begins to do the incantation for... Or no, you know this one because you've seen it before. He uses Dispel Magic. And the moment the spell hits this metal plate, the plate hits the ground with a loud thud, and it falls over on its side, and the door is opened. You can see just inside this chamber, it is covered in claw marks, cracked stone. The door that was originally there has been ripped off its hinges and is crumbled in the back corner of the cell. And in the middle of the cell, you see the alive but unconscious Prince Joseph. Any attire that was on him before he took on his Jericho form, all gone, and he lays face down naked on the floor. And quickly Zeldrif and the others rush into the chamber. Zeldrif draping a robe around him before him and Agrog help him sit up kind of waking him.
Before they wake him up, can I perceive / investigate how long a schlong is? No, I'm joking.
My lord. Okay.
No, he's the prince.
It's okay.
Is it a prince-sized cock or is it a peasant-sized cock? We gotta know.
For legal reasons, it's Prince. No. You don't see anything
Can
as
you
they're
shut
doing
the
this.
fuck-
Yeah, you don't see anything as this is happening. They quickly wake him up though, and Garrison offers him the potion, which he quickly takes, and a moment passes after he drinks it. He shudders a little bit at the taste, and there's silence. And a minute passes, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes. And around the point when the 10-minute mark hits, the prince groans in pain as you see the veins in his neck surge with a for only a moment you see them surge a dark purple before they turn a white and then fade. And he is struggling to keep his composure as he is forced onto his hands and knees due to this pain, struggling for several seconds before finally you see on his wrist the mark that was there burn away and fade until there's nothing left. And then
Hey.
the room falls still and he collapses unconscious. Agrod quickly collects him up and carries him up to the upper chambers. Why? Zeldrif and Garrison give each other a nod, and Garrison proceeds to teleport away, disappearing from sight. And Zeldrif looks over the room, investigating the freshly carved counter runes that had been placed by Jericho, as well as doing a little bit of cleanup of other things as well. Is there anything you guys wish to do in this moment?
I guess well, Garrison just dipped, right? That's what you
Garrison's
said.
gone. Yeah, Garrison went elsewhere. You don't know where he went. He went somewhere.
Okay. I'll just say to the rest of the members, wow, that worked. I am kind of surprised, but
Who's up for sake?
well, I don't drink often, but
Who wants shawarma?
shut up.
Great
I don't
idea. How
drink
about we
often,
do
but
both?
I wouldn't mind just a little bit of drinking to celebrate. I
I just
feel like
heard
we
Bryce say Yaba, but he's muted.
should. God damn it. I'll
Hey, is there a Taco Bell in town?
No, this is the Age of Arcana, not fucking.
Yeah, but there's golden retrievers.
He took it from a
Okay.
different
Mate.
universe. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
I just threw a
He
dog breed.
invoked it from
breed out
a
there.
different timeline.
I'm playing
Sounds
God
like
here.
it.
I do as I want.
You did do like a god, not a god, but a dog breed that
Do
just
an arcane,
completely
dude. Pull a
I
Shrek.
was just gonna leave it as a puppy. You guys had to ask for a species, so I was like, first thing to come to mind, go.
What
Pull
kind
a
of
Shrek.
dog?
Yeah.
Pull a
But-
Shrek 2 and like make a drive through Arcana Taco Bell. Remember that with the Godmother? Or is that
God.
3?
Oh yeah, it was
Bruh.
a burger place.
Well, you guys. What?
Oh, never mind.
So the night wraps up. I don't know if any of you had anything you wanted to do specifically, but you do end up finding rest in this night. Is there anything that anyone was going to do, or you guys gonna settle in with this victory in mind?
I wanted to
I was
snoop
gonna
around
go
the
try to find
castle.
Scale Mill.
I wanted to snoop around and see just more rooms of the castle, more areas that I could access. I don't want to do anything. I just want to,
So
maneuver around, finagle
maneuvering
around.
around
shit.
this section of the castle, you can't find another way into the other parts of the castle inside this
Okay.
tower. This tower seems to be almost cut off, or at least what you can tell, it's cut off.
Okay.
But you're not sure.
How many levels are there?
There are the levels that you are able to access. There are 4 levels.
How many rooms per level? Is it just our dorming, our living quarters, or are there like study spaces? Is there like lounging?
There's the
in
lounging. The lounging is the bottom floor. That's the ground floor. The floor above that is the living quarters, where like people sleep, and it's for the guests and the guards that are within
libraries. Libraries on which stack?
the basement. Libraries in the basement.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay. I don't know. All right. If I wanted to get into the castle, then which hallway would I take?
You would have to exit the tower, and you would have to get past all of the guard that are stationed around the courtyards.
Okay. I see.
And it's kind of, this section of the castle is a little bit kind of walled off between the other parts of the castle. Considering the prince has his own kind of friends and guests that he brings in, and the king doesn't want them just going through the whole castle.
I see.
AKA,
Can I like mosey around and just like note some of the guard rotations for like 15 minutes? Can I like stay around for like 15 minutes and see if anybody changes their shift or anything?
Yeah. In this time, you don't, based on the time that it is, you get a sense standing out there. You got out there just after a guard rotation had occurred. You don't know the duration that guards sit on their post. You don't know if it's the rotations are every hour, every 2 hours, 3 hours. You don't know. You just know that it is a decent amount of time before they have to rotate.
Gotcha. Interesting. Okay, with that knowledge, I'll mosey back to the living quarters.
Okay.
Or to the lounge or wherever the party is.
So you guys find your rest in the living quarters, and I'm debating whether we call it a night and I just write more stuff for next time, or if we try to power through another day worth of stuff. What do you guys think?
I'm fine with. Actually, it's 11:30.
This day is like the last day of stuff that I have listed for you guys.
Yeah.
And I know you specifically, Calder, will be getting stuff, and this will also be the princes telling you, kind of thanking you for what happened. So it's your choice.
I'm down to go through it if y'all are awake enough.
Sure.
Can we do just like a little bit and then be done?
Sure.
You know what? We'll save it for next time. We'll save it for next time.
All right.
Because I'm thinking about this, because if I save it for next time, we can start it off with that, and then we can move into the remaining arc that comes with this. And if you have your notes, you're going to need to remember that vision you had. So, on that note,
yeah,
we will be breaking the session from here, or ending the session here. You guys got a lot done. I am very pleased with the way that we went about your guys' leveling up. That's kind of what I want to do, and I want to try to get to the point, kind of like how I'm not trying to single out like saying this person's better than this person, but I did like how Yotan wanted to describe a scene. I want you guys to do that with, if possible, with some scenes. If you guys want to take the reins on something, on like actions that you want to take and stuff,
be descriptive.
Be like, well, I want to do this. Like, kind of, don't interrupt me in the middle of a description, but like when I do those awkward pauses when nobody says anything, just start describing stuff of what you want to do.
Got you.
But
I'll be like Stephen King, dude. Once
Yes.
I stop thinking of one thing, I'll start thinking of another thing.
Yes, and And this is, I feel like with this campaign, we're all learning different ways to play D&D, obviously. I'm learning to DM it still. I'm still learning. I think I'm doing a pretty good job. I don't know. But I'm trying to get us all to learn a little bit more RP stuff because I'm trying to teach myself that anyways as a player and as a DM. So I think it's just a fun thing to learn.
Yeah, man,
But
everybody must suffer it.
yes, we all must RP and I got to do role playing and in my role playing game. This is ridiculous.
How outrageous.
Yes, how outrageous. Nobody told me there was going to be role playing. But on that note, um, for the audience who may stumble upon this in the future or is here now, if you want to catch up on past episodes, the YouTube page I believe is linked below or is linked somewhere on the Twitch page. If you haven't already, uh, if you haven't already, join the Discord for updates for whenever we're streaming or possible communications with the con group in itself. Follow the Twitter for updates for things, random posts. If you have any kind of homebrew ideas that you wish to be tested or to appear in any of these campaigns, please post them on the Twitter. We do have a pinned message asking for stuff like that, and I will be willing to make those homebrews and get them into these campaigns. Or if you want updates on when we're streaming, turn on notifications on Twitch and follow us. If we get affiliate, then we can do subscriptions and shit like that, but currently we don't have that because we don't have enough followers. And as always, we hope to see you all in the next one. Peace.